Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, wherever you are. We are so glad that you are tuning in for another great day of racing. Today we have round one of season 7, Saturday Division A and B. I'm your host, T Case, and I'm joined in the booth by two excellent commentators. First, he made his NRL debut last season and is back for more. He did a great job last night as well. Welcome, Sector 7's very own Hovercraft. Hovercraft, how are you doing today?
Doing quite well today. Thank you for having me back in the booth. Yet like you said, last night was action packed from the first race to the very last race and the last lap. So I'm excited to do it one more time today. And yeah, I hope today is going to be a great showing of all the drivers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. If you haven't seen Friday's Division A and B round one race, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. Of course, here on McNaughty's channel. And now somebody who I've worked with in the past in some other leagues, making his first appearance as an NRL commentator. We welcome JK85. JK, how you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thanks for having me here. I'm looking forward to commentating on the NRL. I watched the stream yesterday. Good job, Hovercraft. I just want to tell you that you did a great job on comms for yesterday.
Mm.
So yeah, really looking forward to the race. The combo today is amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the drivers tackle both races.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I mean, we can't say enough of how well Hovercraft did yesterday. He's going to do great for us today. And I mean, McNaughty always delivers when it comes to these combos. These combos come out of left field. That's a baseball term, by the way, JK. I know y'all don't do baseball over there. But, anyways, let's go ahead and say a big thanks to our sponsors. That's right, the NRL is sponsored. Our very own DGDR. We'd like to start off with DGGR Podcast. This high octane weekly podcast is where four drivers from the PDX Sim team take you inside the world of motorsport and sim racing. From breaking news to heated debates, wild stories to pro tips, these guys cover it all with passion, humor, and just the right amount of chaos. For your podcast fix, these are available on all platforms with new weekly episodes dropped every Monday. And if you don't know, I mean, you can read it right there. It's Dumb Guys Do Racing. And I know these guys, they are dumb and they do racing. As Slow Mo was on last week, and myself and Tati will be on next week. So be sure to check them out. We would also love to welcome and thank Trail End Custom Construction for sponsoring the NRL this season. If you are in the beautiful city of Charlotte, North Carolina, or the surrounding areas and feel your home doesn't really speak to you, then look no further than Trail End Custom Construction. This family-owned and operated company offers bespoke solutions, including furniture, home building, cabinets, and much more. They will work closely with you to bring your dream home to life right before your very eyes, both on time and within budget. With nothing but 5-star reviews online, you can trust that your dream home is in great hands. Once again, that's Trail End Custom Construction, building your dream homes, cabinetry that tell a story. Thank you so much for your support this season. We would also like to thank our big OG sponsor, if you will, Hankey's Tavern, situated in charming Old Town Florissant in St. Louis, Missouri. If great food, great drinks, and great company are what you're looking for, then look no further than Hankey's Tavern. If you're in the St. Louis area, then stop on by and watch the NRL broadcasts live on their many large screen TVs. Let them know the NRL sent you. And last but not least, Little J CPA, turning streams and side hustles into smart money moves. Whether you're building a small business, growing a brand, or cashing in on streaming income, we'll help you track earnings, maximize deductions, and keep more of what you've worked for. You focus on building, we handle the numbers. That's little J CPA. All right, so now that we've gotten the sponsors out of the way, it's time to take a look at what our Division B drivers have in store for them. JK, will you take us through the Division B details, please?
I sure will. So, Division B Saturday race is at St. Croix, and the qualifying settings here is on the front page here that you can see. The available tyres are soft and medium. Things to note is the refueling is quite slow, the tyre wear is quite high, and they need to do 10 laps. And the car that they'll be in is the Revolta Zagato VGT.
Whew. I didn't even know this car existed until this combo.
I had to find it.
Exactly.
I had to go and find it. It took me about 10 minutes.
And thank you so much for that, JK. And also, real quick, thank you for It's Just Carl $9.99 donation. This entertainment does not come easy. Well said. Well said. And also, Rick Shear with the Canadian 20. Fire, fire, fire. We appreciate that. Now it's time to go into the points. So we follow the F1 structure. Well, I guess kind of a previous F1 structure with the fastest lap. So here's how it works. Race winner gets 25 points. Second place gets 18 points. Third place, 15 points. And then goes all the way down to 10. 10th place is the last points giving spot with 1 point. Now, if you are in the top 10 and you get the fastest lap, you get an extra point. And again, these points are crucial. Some drivers got points for qualifying last week. And then the top 14 drivers overall in their division after round 4 move on to the finals. And now we're going to take a look at the driver lineup for Division B Saturday drivers. Hovercraft, will you please take us through these drivers and their YouTube channels, it looks like?
Of course. Starting off at the top of the list, we have BHR Johnny Boy, followed by Keeper, Pull Triple on FAF Digital Relays from Sector 7 Racing, Felmora, Jimmy K9 from, again, FAF, NBR's Crew Lab, Elias Pangolian, Papa from PhD. You guys probably know him quite a lot if you do any of his series. Of course, his teammate, PhD Arrows, alongside with him. S Folk Drum W, Shadow Chef, which, just to note, he was the top time in pre-qualifications for Division B. Keep out an eye for him. Shoutoutologist from PhD, and then Stumpy rounding off the grid. And all their socials are corresponding to the right hand or to the right side of their name. So, check out their channels to see if they're streaming their own POV throughout the race. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And yes, I do know a couple of these guys are streaming. I believe Papa definitely has a stream up. Sheldo, I believe, has a stream up. But be sure to keep us on because we're going to be bringing you all the action. Well, we already talked about how JK and I didn't know this car existed. Hovercraft, what are your thoughts on this combo?
Yeah, I think the drivers wish they never knew existed as well. It's an interesting car. A lot of dynamic to it. It's a VGT, so it doesn't follow the normal road car structure. Pushing the limits of what engineering can do. But with that, we're finding a lot of drivers commenting with how twitchy it is at the rear. The throttle doesn't exactly play nice with it. And the front grip does leave quite a lot to be desired, so we're going to see some issues pop up throughout the race with those characteristics on board.
Very interesting indeed. Yeah, JK, you were saying right before we went live, this is one of those cars that is both understeery and oversteery. Can you give us a little more insight on what you mean by that?
Yeah, so it's an interesting car to drive. So coming into the corner, I found on the braking, it doesn't like to grip at the front. And then when you're trying to accelerate out of the corner, it then wants to kill you by trying to oversteer while you're coming out of the corner. So it's an interesting car to drive. You do feel like you're on a knife edge with it. and even more so as the tyres start to wear as well. I do want to note one thing though: if you are a VR driver, it is a bit awkward to be driving it because you don't have a cockpit, so you're sitting on top of the roof. So if any VR drivers are out there, good luck.
Interesting. So more of a Mario Kart view for those VR
right,
drivers. As the drivers are now out on track for qualifying, we're on board with Felmora. Felmora is a team free agent. Car number 33, last appearance season 7, Saturday pre-qualifying Q5 Road Atlanta. Points gained last round 3 points. So Felmora trying to be a bit more competitive this season out on track. This is such an interesting looking vehicle, and I like what these liveries I'm seeing all around here. Let's talk a little bit about this track. It's kind of like if you gave a toddler a crayon and said, draw a racetrack. Would you agree with that, JK?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this track is extremely technical, and there are parts where it doesn't really make too much sense, but it does work and it does flow, and it will give us some good racing. But you're right, it's a track that was drawn by a toddler. That's a good way to describe it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure at some point in my childhood I drew something similar to this. As we ride on board with the proprietor of PHG, Papa himself, currently using ASM and traction control. I don't blame him, as we talked about these drivers saying the car was a bit twitchy and unpredictable. Having those assists on definitely can help some of those drivers. Team Papa's
Absolutely.
House of Game. He points gained last round 3, Saturday Division B, standing P10, career 16 starts, 2 wins, 3 podiums, and 10 top 10s. And again, you can catch him at papashouseofgame.com.
I'll be concerned with the assists because they will slow you down, but I understand why people will put them on. But this car, it's at its fastest when it feels like you're about to crash.
That's a scary place to be.
To have. It is, yeah.
No, it's not.
But a couple of things where it is stable. I do think it's stable under brakes, although like I explained, it does get a lot of understeer going into a corner. But when you are braking hard, it doesn't sort of start to screw around it until you try and turn it in. So there's a couple of things that are okay. It's not all doom and gloom for the car, and it is a pretty quick car too down the straights. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
There we go. And we were just on board with S7R driver Digital Relay. I'm curious if you have any insight, being an S7R member yourself, Hovercraft, on Digital Relay's racecraft.
Well, you know, all S7R drivers, of course, naturally has some of the greatest racecraft you'll ever see in any sort of competitive series. But he's been practicing pretty hard this week, doing everything he can to try to research the car, try to maximize their potential results. As you see some drivers, including Digital Relay, going into the pits, these tires go away so quickly. So going into the pits, right off the outlap, gets their fuel load a little bit lower while keeping their front tires fresh, allowing them to get a better shot at getting a good hot lap in.
Very interesting. Yeah, this is a really, really long lap. I mean, it's not Nürburgring, it's not Sarth, but it is up there with one of the longest laps in GT7 as we ride on board with PHG Sheldologist. Now, Shell was actually set to win Division B last season in season 6, but unfortunately was not able to make the finals, which allowed Corridor to come in and take the crown. So I know Sheldo is going to be eager to get that back. And I like he's got his logo there. He's got a new logo, and it's on the side of the car, making it look like he is actually driving it. And you can see the picture-in-picture. We got a live stream POV of JCCR Stumpy going through as well as we ride on board. I thought Caper was PHG Caper. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he's a teammate of mine. Gained nothing last round, unfortunately. Saturday Division B standings, P14, career 13 starts, 0 wins, 6 podiums. 10 top 10 finishes, though, and that's what's important, right? I mean, you're just trying to accumulate the points so you can get into the finals, because once the finals come around, it's winner take all. So as long as you can keep getting those points in, the chances of you making it to the finals are there. We're about halfway through qualifying here as Caper comes across the bridge. This was something else we were talking about before the broadcast, just how tricky this section is, whether it's reverse or the layout we're in. This is where a lot of mistakes tend to happen, is either going into or coming out. And you can see just how off camber those turns are. JK, before the broadcast, we were chatting and you were talking about the tire wear on that front left with all these right-hand turns. We're starting to see that. Are you surprised some of these drivers haven't come into the pits yet?
No, I think we're going to have a stat. I'm not surprised, but no, you're right. Just to go back onto the tyre point, the degradation on this track is massive. The soft tyres will not last too many laps. And when they're worn, they do become very slow. So, yeah, that's very interesting. And no, I'm not surprised that not everyone's come in. I would imagine people are just trying to run the fuel down, get the fuel down to a nice level where they can then really do a real quick hot lap. With less fuel, because you can gain a lot of time by losing some of that weight. I did want to just mention, though, that you can see on the footages that we're looking at is how twitchy the cars are going into corners. You can just see it moving. It's not stable at all. Like I said, being fast, you'll see this car looking like it's going to crash all the time. It's a very interesting car to drive, and I'm envious of the drivers out on track that can drive these cars so quickly today.
And look at that, PHG Aero taking the fastest lap away from Caper with a 304.588. He's made several appearances here in the NRL. Of course, he is a teammate of mine, part of the Papa's House of Game, and we've actually got to camp together at the Rolex 24 Hours. So Aero's a great guy. Glad to see him back out here. Points gained last round 0, unfortunately. Saturday Division B standing P13, career starts 20. 0 wins, 0 podiums, but 18 top 10 finishes. And you can find him on YouTube at Aero GT7. So Aero showing up right now with a big statement here. I'm curious, Hovercraft, are you seeing anybody else out there potentially looking to take that spot away?
As of right now, not really. Just kind of scrolling through all the drivers. Some of these guys will have maybe catch the line at the very end, but because of how long this track is, I think some of the people who went into the pits last lap, I don't think they're going to be able to catch the flag or catch the line before the flag drops. So I think some of these guys who are on out laps will actually just not be able to run another hot lap.
One. Making a crucial mistake there. I believe that was Sheldo, Papa, a couple others we saw go in. And someone who hasn't gone into the pits is FS Oak here. Man, look at that front. I mean, you nailed it, JK, the front left tire. And then what you were saying, Hovercraft, he definitely should have been one of those early pitters, but it looks like he is done. But I mean, not bad right here with a 305.387, currently sitting in P4.
Yeah, he's putting a good first lap, but it looks like he's struggling with that car now. It's like it's not going gear or something. I don't know whether he's having some sort of technical difficulties, possibly. But that front tire is a mess. There's a few drivers here you can't sleep on. Shouldounologist, he's a quick driver. K9 Jimmy, I've seen some of his times, and also Cole Trickle. There's some super fast drivers. They're just to name a few, but there's some seriously fast drivers. I mean, Arrow always turns up, and every time I see Arrow racing, he's always turning up. So yeah, he's just one of those consistent drivers.
Indeed. And one thing I love about Arrow is he's like me. He only does one livery, but he does it really well. All his cars are that color and spot on. It looks like he currently in P1 will be coming across the line first for their final lap. And like you were saying, Hovercraft, some of those drivers, I don't think they're going to get around. I think you are absolutely correct. Digital Relay putting in a time up to P5. And there we go, Mora up to P2 with a 304.660. Jimmy across the line does not improve. Krulov with a 307. And next up, we have BHR Johnny Boy, unable to improve. Oh, man. Krulov now coming through, and it looks like Krulov is done. Oh, my goodness. What a. I'm a little shocked right now. Oh, it looks like Caper's still on a flyer here. Coming through 304.124 from Cole Trickle, dethroning Arrow with dominance right there. That's a quite an improvement. Can Sheldo respond as he come around this long left-hander onto a semi-straight here? Exit is crucial. His tires are looking good. Probably a little more fuel than maybe he would like to have, but he is purple by 6/10. He is up. He's going for the 303s. It is a long lap. It is hard to maintain that kind of gain here as he comes up into one of the sharpest turns on the track into a 90-degree left-hander. The bridge is coming. This is where things can get a little bit tricky. Into this left-hander, it is off camber and uphill. The curb unsettles the car a little bit, but just as you were saying, if you're not on the edge, you're not going fast. And golly, it looks like Sheldo's going fast, wouldn't you say there, JK?
Yeah, he's absolutely moving, and you can see with the wheel inputs how much he's fighting this car to keep it in the straight line and keep it fast.
We know Sheldo is great, and if anyone can do it, he can.
Absolutely. My only concern is that front left is going to give up before the end of the lap. That's my only concern for him, but you never know.
It's such a long lap. It's such a long lap. We see on board with PHG Caper as well. Sheldo lost a 10th in that sector. He was up 7/10. Now he's back to 6/10. So you can see, I mean, how many sectors does this track have? 6? Something like that. You can lose a lot and gain a lot each sector.
That's right.
Hovercraft, what are we seeing from your perspective?
Caper will be the last of the drivers to fall or to catch the flag, catch the lap. But Caper,
What a time that was. Sorry, Hovercraft. Wow. Well done, Sheldo. Sorry, Hovercraft. I apologize, mate. That was just a cracking lap.
honestly, I was surprised by that too. Amazing lap by good old Sheldo. Caper unable to improve on his final attempt.
Incredible. I mean, Sheldo, honestly, he should have won last season, or you would think he would have, been up there if he had made that final race. But holy cow. Hovercraft, do you mind going through these results for us?
Of course. As you saw, everybody, PhD's Shadowologist takes pole position with a 3:03.5. Cole Trickle closest to respond, but only with a 3:04.1. PhD Arrow following him 3:04.5, followed by Famora, a 3:04.6. Then Caper, then Pelias, PhD Papa down in P7, S-Folk in P8. And then the second half of the grid, S7R's Digital Relay, followed by Stumpy. FAF's Jimmy K9 is taking P11. BHR's Johnny Boy is in 12th. And then rounding out the grid, MVR's Krulov taking P13 with a 3:07.5.
Wow. So a little bit spread out, but also really close together. I mean, Sheldo seems to be kind of in his own league up there a little bit in P1, but Cole isn't too far behind. But then you have Arrow, Thelmora, Caper, Pelias, all right there. And I think that's going to create some exciting racing. What are your thoughts after that qualifying, JK?
Blown away by Sheldo's time, actually. What an incredible time. But no, you're right. There is a bit of a gap. It's spread across, but the race is an endurance. It's not a sprint. So there's going to be different strategies. The drivers will be quicker in different stints. So I don't think this is going to be a slam dunk for Sheldo. Unfortunately, I think he's going to have a bit of a race on his hands.
Indeed, indeed. We were talking about, fuel definitely being a factor. Tire wear is up there. What kind of strategies do you think we're going to see here, Hovercraft?
Think realistically, we're going to have two strategies on board for everyone. It's either going to be a medium to medium or a medium to soft to end out the race. If we're going to see a medium to medium, expect these drivers to pit in a little bit earlier, around lap 4, lap 5. And then to finish out the rest of the race on another set of mediums. If we're seeing a medium to soft, we're going to see the medium runners go a little bit longer, around 6 laps, to finish out the last few laps on softs. I think that's what we're going to be seeing, but we're also going to be seeing a lot of short shifting. The car isn't
Mm.
too bad, in terms of top speed, but with a very devastating refuel rate of only 1 liter per second, as well as you have to get this car around 10 laps along track. We're going to be expecting a lot of fuel saving across all the drivers, and I think that's going to be very important going into the pits. Some people may jump others.
Yeah, indeed. And that's always exciting on our end to see. I love when you get to see two different strategies play out and see who played the cards right and who made a mistake. Another thing we do need to consider is it is heavy damage. And while we didn't see too many incidents, we saw the one with SFO, running out of tires essentially, going into the wall. But there are, I mean, this is a walled in track and it's mostly grass, which we all know racing tires don't grip on grass. So I do expect to see some drivers end up with a little bit of damage, and that will affect the race as well. We look at the race details and only 10 laps. It sounds like so few, especially with Hover, you saying, this is a bit of an endurance, but um, it's a long lap. We saw that there with the qualifying time. So it's going to be interesting. And another thing we were talking about, I believe you were alluding to this, JK, is the grid start. With false start check. How would you be planning to start this race?
If it was me starting this race, I'd probably use, because if you look at the design of the car, there's not a lot of weight at the back of it. The engine's at the front, all the weight's at the front, so it spins a lot. I'd probably start with traction control 1, just to keep that spin under control. And as soon as I get going, switch it back down to 0 and then go for it. That's how I would start this race.
Interesting. Yeah, that's something I always do. Flip on that TC, hold down that handbrake, and full send. It'll be interesting. Even though drivers are prepared for it, it seems to always catch at least one person out. Mainly because in dailies we're doing a rolling start, and going through there. So it does seem to catch drivers out. But it is time. Drivers on the grid. Sheldolage is sitting in P1, and I'm understanding all drivers are starting on the medium tires. The lights are on. They are off, and here we go. It looks like everybody gets a clean start. Further back, I can't see who that is. It looked like PHG Papa making up some positions at the start. What a launch from Papa up to P2. He's going hard into Sheldo as they go into turn 1. We can see side-by-side action further back. And wow, what a start from Papa. Cole Trickle behind in P3. Thelmora P4. SMFR Polias Pango in P5. PHG Aero P6. S7R's Digital Relay P7, PHG Caper P8, and Sheldo taking the lead as Arrow is now fighting back. Belmora going wide into this turn side by side with Polias Pango. Polias Pango getting a little squirrely there. PHG Arrow on the outside. This is getting tight. It looks like further up, Papa is getting challenged as well. Oh my goodness. Keeping it on the track, and here comes Digital Relay up the inside, but he is outbroken. No, he stays in there, keeping his car alongside, and squirrely as squirrely goes. Polias Pango losing P7 to Digital Relay in P6. What an amazing start we have, and further back you can see Caper just behind them, trying to make a move with Krulov now in P9. And it is just a gaggle, an almighty gaggle of these VGT cars. Everybody jockeying for position. The grid is tight. Only 3 seconds between 9th and 1st as PHG Papa is able to maintain P2 What an incredible start we've seen here. JK, your thoughts on Papa's start, man?
Do you know what? I was going to say, I think Papa must be on softs the way he got off the line, but he's not. He's on mediums. What a start. And how everyone's kept it so clean, again, just a testament to how talented these drivers are. What a start to the race. And yeah, Papa, gold star, mate, for the start. You absolutely nailed it.
Absolutely. He must have been listening. Those assists he has on definitely helped him out at the start. Really incredible. And it seems like, we have this battle up front, P2, everybody's nose to tail, and then we have a slight fraction further back. So seems like the drivers are splitting into two groups as Papa just not giving up and keeping the pressure on Sheldologist. It's what's even more amazing is we're still on lap 1. And we got 9 more to go after this as we ride on board with Arrow trying to get past Felmora. And this track is so wide, but it does seem very difficult to overtake. There's also
only one line. There's only
one line. Yeah.
It's a wide track, but it's really...
Contact from Felmora and Cole. Everybody seems to be okay. Hopefully no damage for Felmora. No, he is safe. And also a battle for P8 further back. Hovercraft, can you tell us what's going on back there in P8?
Yeah, Caper's on the lead of this little train here, right? The gap between P7 and P8 is expanding, but the fight between Digital Relay and Polias is allowing Caper and the train behind him to catch up a little bit. Caper is still holding steady in P8. No quick response from Jimmy in P9, but he himself is also trying to keep an eye on his back because he has Krulov and P11 to worry about.
Yeah, and we're just watching the battle just ahead of those guys. Digital Relay and Polias Pango, neither giving up, trying to stay on one line, but like JK said, there is only one line, so you got to be brave if you're trying to dive up the inside or go around the outside. It looks like Digital Relay's able to maintain P6. Polias Pango will have to wait for another opportunity, and while that was happening, that has allowed Caper in P8 to get right on the bumper of Polias Pango. Now Caper going for a move. He's on the outside of Polias Pango. Can he get on the gas quicker? He is using ASM and traction control. Does that allow him to get a little more acceleration? Caper now going up what is now the inside of Polias Pango, and there it is, move done. P7 for PHG Caper. Wow, what a battle. What a battle. JK, anything standing out to you here from these drivers?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So I noticed Digital Relay and what was the PSG driver's name that they were racing against? The one in the lime green car. Sorry, I forgot the name.
Oh, Polias Pango.
That's it, Polias Pango. They were using quite a lot of fuel. I was looking at their revs, and they were going at it. And so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out towards the end of the race. Where they burned up a little bit of fuel, but you can see everyone's short shifting now just to try and ease the fuel. And Sheldon, although he's in front, he is helping Papa and Cole right now because he's braking the air and they're sitting behind short shifting, saving lots and lots of fuel. But it'll be interesting to see if Sheldon is also saving fuel and they're all just waiting to sort of show their true pace towards the end of the race.
Indeed, and we can see Cole Trickle now applying a lot of pressure to Papa. He's going for it. He's got the inside line. He's alongside. Can he get the car slowed down and rotated, keeping it within track limits? And yes, he does. Great move for P2. And I'll agree with that, JK. I think Sheldo is setting the pace of this race. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but I'm good like that. And he is just kind of letting everybody manage their fuel. I know he is definitely going to be trying to manage fuel, but I don't know that he thought he was going to be out in front at the beginning of this race like he is. And you can see Papa running a bit deep there, allowing Felmora and PHG Arrow. They're going three wide. PHG Arrow gets the better exit, gets past Felmora. Felmora gets past Papa, brings in Digital Relay just behind them. And we're only on lap 2. This is crazy. What is going on here? We got a battle for P7 even further back, but look at that. Arrow up, back up into P3. Great move by Arrow. Holy smokes, I'm loving this.
Yeah,
This
and
is
you can see
great.
the drivers are just like, well, because they'll be thinking about, I don't want to use too much fuel, but I want to get away from this car behind me. So they're trying to do that fine balance between pace and saving fuel. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. Look at that. I mean, Sheldo, we can see on board, he is on the racing mediums. He has just over a quarter tank of fuel, so he seems to be doing good and feeling comfortable setting the pace of this race. He's got Cold Trickle behind. Now, Cold Trickle can be a bit spicy at times. I'm curious to see what he does here, if he just is content to stay behind Sheldologist, or if he's going to make a move. What are your thoughts on that, Hovercraft?
I was expecting to see a little bit, a little bit of Sheldologist to just run away with this race, considering he got a 6/10 advantage in qualifying. But no, Cold Trickle, Papa for a little bit, and Arrow they're still all very close to him. He's not exactly running away with this. So it's going to be very interesting to see if any of these guys have differing strategies once we get into the pit stop phase.
Excellent. And remind me, Hovercraft, if you're Sheldologist, what are you thinking? Medium, or maybe medium soft. When are you coming into the pits here?
Considering, the train behind me is still very close and Cold Trickle is kind of making a charge, I'm thinking that he could possibly be using a little bit more fuel than what I would be doing in P1. So maybe I want a more aggressive strategy towards the end of the race, get onto the softs, and make him feel the pain when it comes to, using that extra fuel.
I like that. Oh no, and there goes Papa. Oh, I was just about to say Papa had fallen down to P6. Now, unfortunately, he is out of the running there for these top runners. And you can see, I mean, JK, you said it perfectly. The car understeers on entry, oversteers on exit. JK, take us through this if you don't mind.
So yeah, he's coming out. He's got out wide. He's turned in. Like I said, you're trying to get it turned in, put on the gas, and it just spits you out. And that's with traction control, might I add. And that's still spitting him out. Yeah, it's an incredibly tricky car. Unfortunate for Papa there.
Yeah, and you hate to see it. And you can see he also picked up damage. He's not in his pit window either. So now he's got to make the decision: do I box to fix the damage? As we also see, SF Oak has damage, but he has gone purple. So even with the damage, he seems to be able to be improving his lap times as the fuel comes off, and he looks like he has used quite a bit more fuel than the drivers up front, as he is in that like 2/3 of fuel remaining. We got another crash.
Was that Arrow?
Was that? I think it was Arrow. Oh no!
Oh, that's going to be huge amounts of damage.
Oh
as well.
No! Arrow was doing so good. I hate to see that. Let's see what happened here if we have a replay. We sure do. So Arrow in P3, applying pressure to Cole. Cole making a move on Sheldologist. Cole moves up to P1. Late on the brakes is Arrow. Oh, and he just gets on the grass, trying not to get into Sheldo, taking evasive maneuvers. And oh, that's so unfortunate. And surprisingly taking rear damage.
Yeah, he hit the back of the car on the barrier. It's where he went out wide, got on the grass. As he applied the brakes, the car went, no thanks, I'm gonna kill you now. And here's the barrier. And yeah, he hit the back end of the car there. It's not all doom and gloom, to be fair, because now both Papa and Arrow have got damage. They could potentially start burning their fuel, come in, get faster tyres on, and just go absolutely nuts for the next 6 laps.
That's a great point. That's a great point. As we see Digital, with all that chaos, Digital Relay now up into P3. We see his POV in the picture-in-picture, so we can see what he's seeing, and also what we're seeing live here on the broadcast, as Sheldologist has now succumbed to Cold Trickle, and it looks like he might fall back to Digital Relay. Digital Relay is running traction control. Seems to be a common theme around here. And now applying pressure, and it's just like, well, I answered the question before I asked it. I was going to say, do you stay and wait? But no, Digital Relay moves on up. He's almost at half a tank of fuel remaining. So we might see some refueling when it comes time to pit. We are on lap 4 of 10. And I mean, the action has been nonstop, especially this battle up top as we see Krulov getting a little squirrely in the background in P4. There's currently also a battle for P5 going on. Hovercraft, who's in that battle for P5?
Tamara and Johnny Boy are just, swapping positions, swapping P5 ownership back and forth. They're very equal on pace, but with such long straights. As we say that, Pomora goes down the inside, taking Johnny Boy's P5 away right before the chicane, but Pelias is still very close behind. What will he do going into this long-hander, long sweeper?
Wow, and yeah, you can see that Pelias Pango, also SF Oak, who we know does have damage. I'm very impressed that he's able to keep up like he's doing, even with the damage he has on his car. Johnny Boy looking up the inside, unable to do it. These cars look so good, y'all. I like the angles. Looking back like this, I'm just like, I dig it.
They look incredible.
Johnny Boy going up the inside of Filmora, but Filmora later on the brakes. Oh, it just seems so hard to get a move done. Wouldn't you say, JK?
Yeah, like I said, although the track's very wide, there's only one really fast line, and so it's a tough track to overtake on, especially being in the same equipment, and people are in different strategies. But going back to the car, it reminds me of like Captain Scarlet's car or a Thunderbird's car. I really do like the car. I'm showing my age there. I'm showing my age.
Indeed. This battle just will not stop. We're on board with SF Oak, who does have damage, and you can see that front left tire is starting to sweat. It's about 50%. He's about 50% on fuel as well. You can see on our picture-in-picture, Shieldologist has fallen back quite a bit from that battle for the lead. Still in P3 as Pelias Pango runs wide. That allows SF Oak into P7. He says, thank you very much for that mistake. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. Again, very impressive. I would have expected the damage to be a little bit more. Hovercraft, what do you know about the damage models here, and why is SF Oak able to, battle like he is?
Well, it comes down to the fact that this car is rear-wheel drive, right? So the damage is all on the front, meaning that his the power going down into the wheels isn't really being affected because it's on the different, it's on the back wheels, it's not on the front wheels. Also, this car, as much as it does have a little bit of aerodynamics, it's very much more reliant on the racing tires and the mechanical grip. So even though he will be losing a little bit of top end, his cornering ability is still not heavily affected.
Oh, wow. Great analysis.
Yeah, really good.
Fantastic.
It's also just to further point of what Hovercraft's saying, he is revving that car out, so he's making up the damage lost with the additional fuel that he's burning. So yeah, it's hugely interesting to see how he's doing that.
Great point. Yeah, different strategies here. Some drivers, or most drivers, short shifting. We see that here on Krulov as he is now well within the slip, staring at the back of Sheldo's beautifully liveried vehicle, coming in off the bridge, right-hander into a left. You can see that snap of oversteer from Sheldo. These cars are a bit twitchy, and Krulov getting a bit of a better exit, even though his front left tire does look well worn. And now you can see the understeer there as he runs wide. Sheldo keeping it tight, allowing him to pull a bit of a gap, trying to catch back up to Digital Relay and Cole Trickle, who is leading this race. I mean, these drivers, I think we all had trouble finding practice lobbies for Division B. I know I did. I was only able to make it into one, but clearly these drivers have been practicing, as we see the leaders, Cole Trickle, S7R, Krulov into the pits, Sheldologist staying out. Your thoughts on that, JK?
That's interesting. He obviously is going to go to the softs on the next lap, and he's going to have some really fast pace. He is fueling a lot. He is saving an awful lot of fuel, and I think that's why he dropped off the pace. It wasn't because he lost any performance. I think it was a deliberate strategy of his. If you look where he's shifting, he is shifting really low down.
Yeah, Sheldologist definitely. I did talk to him before the race. I didn't want to give away his strategy, but you nailed it on the head. You're able to observe and see what his strategy is, and that is exactly it. And it is paying off. So he didn't sweat it, losing the P1. I believe he will go to the softs. I'm curious, Hovercraft, do you know which drivers pitted? I know we saw a couple there at the beginning. I'm not sure if you were able to catch all the drivers who pitted.
I can't tell you all the drivers that pitted, but I did want to note. Well, I was distracted because Cole Trickle was very much ahead of Filmora here, if you see in the small screen. But because of how much fuel Cole Trickle used up on the first stint, he fell back behind Filmora. Filmora was multiple
Oh,
seconds behind Cole Trickle, but because of the fuel saving Filmora was able to do, he jumped Cole.
wow.
And
Wow.
there's the
That's what I
power.
love to see. I
Power of
love
the fuel.
that.
Power of the
And we
fuel
get-
pit stop.
And we can see Papa is now back up into P6. I imagine he's going to be going for a similar strategy of Sheldologist. So good recovery for Papa. Still going to need to pit as we ride on board with Pelias Pango, who has not pitted, and he does have front bumper damage. But like Hovercraft was alluding to, you know, the aero on this car isn't a huge deal. So a little front bumper damage isn't going to hurt you too much. He's applying the pressure to Johnny Boy as we come up to what shouldn't be a tricky part, but definitely is this here bridge section, off camber left-hander. You can see how the curb unsettled Johnny Boy's car there, but he's able to keep it going as they go across the bridge. We see the helicopter flying around in the background there, coming into the right-hander, which will then be a very tight left-hander into another long right-hander as they come around. Does Pelias keep it together? Yes, he does. Just trying to get it around one more lap. I imagine he goes in for a pit stop here along with Johnny Boy. Very nice driving from Pelias, and not too far behind him is SF Oak coming around the corner. And there we go. You can see just how close Pelias Pango has gotten to Johnny Boy as he gets a little squirrely. Little squirrely coming out there.
Lift those rear tires up.
He's lighting him up.
Yeah,
He knows he's coming into the pits. He can burn all that rear rubber.
I think the top 7 drivers still need to come in, so we're going to see a shift in the driver lead.
There we go. Sheldo in the pits. Johnny Boy in the pits. Pelias SF Oak stays out. So SF Oak will take the lead, and you can see Stumpy applying plenty of pressure to PHG Papa. Papa's still working with that damage. Will that allow Stumpy to get around? Stumpy's in the pits, and Papa stays out one more lap and then go into softs?
Must be. That's his plan.
And Cole Trickle, MP5, should make pretty quick work of PHG Papa here. I mean, it has been difficult to pass. There aren't those, you know, super heavy braking zones. It's more of getting a good exit, lining yourself upright. Let's see how long it takes Cole to dispatch Papa. And I wonder if Paper and SF Oak potentially going for a no stop. What do you think about that, Hovercraft?
You know, there is the possibility of a no stop here, but you know, it takes so much fuel saving and conservation, and the fact that S-Folk has, you know, damage, I don't really think it's really worth it. I think it's better to have.
Oh.
Yeah, Papa ran wide there, losing 2 positions to Cole and Filmora. Keep going, Hovercraft.
Yeah, just with S-Folk's current conditions, with damage, and with a very close to dying medium tire, it just doesn't seem very worth it to go for a no stop. I think his best chances are just to, you know, reap his loss right now and then go onto a set of softs and just try to you know, burn the rubber down on the last few laps.
Yeah, indeed. With a track this long, like a shorter track, trying to do a lap on dead tires, you know, you might lose 2 seconds. But on a track like this, you're looking at 3 to 4 seconds of losing time just because of how big it is. So we ride on board with PHG Caper trying to hunt down SF Oak. Neither driver has pitted, so I mean, we gotta expect these two to pit. Sheldo in P3 will definitely overtake both drivers and should take back his rightful throne of P1, Cole Trickle just behind. Cole is now back ahead of Filmora, so that is a good move from Cole because we know he did lose positions in the pits. PHG Papa still needing the pit in P6. JK, I mean, do you think this is Sheldo's? We're getting close to the end here.
Yeah, Sheldo's in a great position. Not only did he stay out one extra lap, so his soft tyre is going to be far happier. Or if he has gone onto a soft, I don't know what tyre he's onto actually. But yeah,
Softs.
Yeah, he is on a soft, so he's going to have pretty good pace. I think you'll find Cole catch up with him towards the end of lap 9, potentially start at lap 10, because he is on the mediums and they will come into their own, and the softs, in my opinion, from when I'm not as good as these guys, but I could only make the softs really be quick for about 3 laps, really, and after that they do start to not be happy. Even 2 laps, to be fair. Towards the end of the second lap, they are screaming.
Interesting. SF Oak and PHG Papa into the pits. However, PHG Caper staying out for another one. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sheldo handles dealing with Caper, if he's able to defend at all. I mean, he's got a 4.5-second lead, but I mean, we're on lap 8 of 10. He's got a lot more to go. I just don't. I mean,
his tire's not going to last. That front left is gone.
His fuel's going to make it, but yeah, that tire isn't. So unless he's like L1, R1, up, down, left, right, triangle, X, square, A, B,
all the buttons,
and wins somehow, as we see Sheldo taking purple through this sector, definitely looking like he will take the fastest lap, being on the softs. Krulov currently has fastest lap with a 3:05.325. I'm curious, Hovercraft, did any other drivers opt to go to softs? Can you see?
Currently, S-Folk went to the softs, and I believe for the Caper, well, Caper's still out, obviously. Besides Sheldon-ologist, as well as Stumpy, S-Folk, and Polias. Well, obviously they went onto the softs early on, but yes, Johnny Boy I think, is the last. Well, Papa is the last of the soft takers.
Interesting. So we will definitely see something come down here as we're about to start the penultimate lap. I say that, but the lap's so long. We're about to start it at the end of this lap. I mean, it's not coming within the next couple of seconds. Give it a few minutes and we'll get there. But PHG Caper staying out on those, I mean, such worn mediums. But I know us PHG folk would be so pumped with a PHG 1-2, and we all kind of consider Trickle a part of it. Whoa, what happened there?
Yeah, lit those rear tires up again. Like I said, this car is interesting to drive. That's allowed the digital relay to get right up the back of the car now, and you'll probably find him overtaking now in this next corner.
Indeed, as we ride on board with digital relay. Good on Stumpy to catch that. Digital relay looking up the inside, but doesn't quite have the overspeed. He's going to work on trying to get a little bit better angle here. Digital relay was running up at the top of the field. So, I mean, I don't know how many position changes we've had, but it's been a lot. This race has gotten all mixed up after Papa's incredible start at the beginning, as well as Arrow moving his way up, and then them having their incidents, allowing digital relay up there as well. Cole Trickle, and there we go. We see PHG Caper being overtaken by Sheldologist and going in the pits. Sheldo now back with the lead. Where is this going to let PHG Caper come out? Will he come out behind digital relay? I know digital relay would like that. We'll only have to wait and see. But no, Caper, quick pit stop, no fuel, coming out on fresh softs, and he is ahead of Krulov. Krulov just behind. Krulov's tires will be up to temp, but he is on the mediums, whereas Caper on the fresh softs. So looking like a good draft for Caper. Wouldn't you say that, Hovercraft?
Yeah, you know, he went very long, and I wasn't expecting such a jump in the pit stops. I was expecting him to fall down quite a lot. But the advantage of pitting so late, besides the obviously fresh tires, you don't have to take as much fuel. You only have 2 more laps to do. So you don't have to go for, 50 liters of fuel roughly, as some of the other guys did. You only have to do a small splash and dash, and you're back out on track, and it's helping him quite a lot. He may have a chance at a podium here.
Yeah, I think so. I agree 100%. And he's going to be able to push, and only like you were saying, JK. After 2 laps is when these tires start to get a little iffy. We're on the penultimate lap here, so I mean, he can just go
Caper's definitely
full
done
out.
his homework. Yeah, he definitely done his homework. It's about 2 laps, they're dead fast, and then towards the end of the second lap, they start to give up. So yeah,
And I will say the one Division B practice lobby I was able to get in was Caper, so I do know for a fact he has been practicing. So good on Caper. Digital Relay, what a roller coaster of a race. He would love to get ahead of Stumpy here, but Sheldologist seems to have a firm grasp on the lead. Cole Trickle P2, Felmora P3. That's our current podium. We can see the point of view of Sheldo. No drivers behind, but I do notice this is something I've never gotten on board with, and I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts, is the braking zone assist that we see from Sheldologist. Is that something either of you use?
I don't use it. I've got no visual aids personally, but I think it's each to their own.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes you feel comfortable, and they're there. So if people want to use them. I just don't, because I like the realism aspect of it rather than anything else. Not that I'm an elitist or anything like that.
For sure. What about you? Yeah, Hovercraft.
Me personally, similar to JK, I don't like any visual aids. Personally, when I'm driving out on track, eventually I'll practice to the point where I have such good muscle memory. I don't really need any aids, so I'd rather just let screen be less cluttered and just have more focus on other cars, what my dash is saying, stuff like that. Just having those visual aids kind of hampers me, because it's taking away my focus from other things.
Yeah, I get distracted like you. I'm like, oh look, there's a pretty line. Oh, that's a brake point.
Fair enough. See, I do use the flashing red brake, like where it just does brake, because like you're saying, my attention span isn't there. As we see Arrow now making a move on Jimmy K9, this battle for P10 has been on like Donkey Kong, and Arrow now up into P10, looking to pull away as, oh, interesting, SF Oak into the pits, and looks like he was gonna run out of fuel, not make it to the end. He definitely has to fuel up as we are starting the final lap. Jimmy K9, a part of Full Acceleration Force, FAF. Points gained last round and round 3, or last round was 3 points. Saturday Division B standing P8, career 2 starts, 0 wins, 0 podiums, 1 top 10 finish. So Jimmy K9 very much wanting to get into that top 10 as he's now applying the pressure to Papa. Fuel tanks are low, tires are worn. These drivers are giving it their all as Johnny Boy goes up the inside. Whoa, not able to make the move stick. That was close. I thought Johnny was going to get in to the side of Jimmy, but great job backing out of that as we see Johnny Boy, part of Beehive Racing, giving it his all right now. This is looking great. He does have damage to the left rear of his car, but Sheldo commanding this race and looking like he's going to go from pole to the top podium. This is exciting stuff to see, as Felmora still holding on to P3, 2.9, almost 3 seconds to Caper, and 3.5 seconds to Cole, sitting pretty for a podium if they can keep it going. Tires look okay, but tires look a lot better for PHG. Caper on the softs. He's got Felmora in sight. He's got Krulov behind. Not much time left to go. Can Caper make something happen with these softs and get back onto the podium? Only time will tell.
He's got a minute to make up 2 seconds. He's got a minute to make up 2 seconds. He could do. He's on a faster tire.
If anybody can do it, Caper can. And absolutely. His blue mobile, is that blue or is that purple?
I think it's a blue. Let's stick with blue. Or a
Let's stick with
Blackpool.
blue.
Just-
There we go. You can see the Hanky Taverns livery. We got the Blue Jays on the front, uh, repping his Canadian baseball team.
It looks
Krulov
like
just behind.
as long as nothing happens, Sheldon will have the fastest lap, pole position, and the race win.
That's a triple crown right there.
Is
That is looking good. Felmora maintaining the lead. Krulov creeping up on Caper. Caper doing his best, but here we go for the round one, season 7, Division B Saturday splits. That is Shell Dologist with a dominant performance. No fuel left. Cole Trickle
that
into
is definitely
P2.
gauntlet laid down there. Come and catch me if you
Indeed.
can.
Oh, and look how close Caper.
Oh, that was
so
really close. He got really
Krulov just
close.
there. Digital Relay going to come across the line with a bit of a roller coaster. Stumpy just behind. Look how low these drive. I mean, clearly they practice based on their fuel loads. Stumpy
Yeah.
NP7, Pelias Pango, another roller coaster driver there. Look at those softs. We're done. Arrow NP9, Papa just behind in P10. Two drivers who had incidents towards the beginning of this race, still coming into the top 10, gaining points. Good recovery from them. BHR Johnny Boy across the line in P12, and unfortunate for SFO coming across P13. Woo!
What a race.
I tell
That
you
is a
what,
marker
look,
laid down by Sheldo, though. He put a masterclass on there, and he's telling the rest of the pack, "You got to try and catch me."
asserted his dominance for sure. Sheldo with the win. Cole Trickle P2. Felmora P3. Then we got PHG Caper, who started P5, moved up to P4. Felmora was P4, moved up into P3. Then we have NVR's Krulov with an excellent start, moving up from well, P last up into P5. Then we have Digital Relay in P6. Digital Relay started P9, so good improvement from them. Then we have Stumpy in P7. Stumpy started P10. Another good improvement. Then we have Pelias Pango currently sitting in P8. Then we have PHG Arrow in P9. PHG Papa rounding out the top 10 in points. Then we have FAF's Jimmy K9 in P11. BHR Johnny Boy in P12. And SF Oak in P13. Wow.
That was amazing.
Hovercraft, some reflections from you while we wait for our podium sitters to join us for our driver interviews.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how little the qualification or quality was and how reflective it was to the actual race results. Shoutout and Culture qualified towards the front, but there were some very surprises. As you mentioned, Krulov qualified last, getting all the way up to P5. Digital Relay and P9 on contention for a podium, but unfortunately the second stint just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, very interesting to see how large of a spread there was in quali, but how close some of these position fights were towards the end.
Indeed. And how about yourself, JK?
Yeah, like I said, the race was completely took me by surprise with the different strats that went on. Like some of the drivers going so far into it with the mediums. But I'm seriously impressed with Sheldo's dominance there. He had obviously put a lot of time and effort into getting this car to be as quick as it was and be economical as much as possible with the tires and fuel. So yeah, congrats, Sheldo.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're going to start with our race winner, Mr. Sheldologist himself, my teammate both in PHG and IRO Sprint Championship. Mr.
Good day.
Sheldologist, how are
Good
you,
day. Good
sir?
day. I'm doing excellent. Little sweaty, but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that one.
So we're gonna, we got to ask a few questions. Obviously, I talked to you a little bit before the race, getting an idea of what your strategy was, and it looked like you stuck to it to perfection. I'm curious though, after you lost those two positions, falling back to P3, did you ever question whether or not you should change your strategy?
No, not at all. I figured they would be going in on 5-5 on 5 medium. I also, when digital relay went past me, I heard he was revving a little bit higher than what I was revving. So I knew he'd be down on fuel compared to me. So I wasn't worried about that. When it came down to when they went in on lap 5, I knew they were going to go to mediums. I knew I was going to soft. So I was going to pull out 2 or 3 seconds right off the bat on my out lap and my second lap, because I had fuel saved enough that I could do a push lap. Luckily, that all played out and came home with the win.
Awesome. Well, you definitely asserted your dominance there, sir. Hovercraft, do you have any questions for Sheldologists?
Yeah. First off, congrats on the win. You've been here multiple times before, so this isn't a new thing to see, but you did wonderfully.
Thank you.
Amazing start and amazing just absolute control over your pace in your car. How when you were starting to when you were starting to contest your position, did you feel nervous at all? Like, did you feel like in the back of your mind, maybe I'm on the wrong strategy, or maybe I maybe possibly underestimated my fellow competitors? Like, did you have
No,
did it
no,
was it
I kind of stuck to the plan and kept to the I wanted to be the sub 32-minute race time. And the only way I could, or the fastest way in all my practice and strategy, was the fuel save, mediums to softs, and just stuck to the plan, trusted the process.
So no, I mean, it obviously was the right call, and hey, it resulted in a great win. So congratulations, and if this is a marker for what we are expecting to see, I will most certainly be talking to you multiple times throughout the season. So congrats on the win.
Thank you.
And JK, any questions for our race winner for round 1?
No, you guys covered everything. Just congrats, Sheldon. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Sheldologist. Now you get to relax a little bit and enjoy the Division A race. And we look forward to seeing you back in here many, many more times, sir. Well done.
Sounds good, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, now going on to our P2 driver, Mr. Cole Trickle. Cole, how you doing, bud?
Good, thanks. Yourselves?
Doing good, doing good. I've been watching you race for quite a bit. We've raced against each other quite a bit. Just tell me, did your strategy go to plan? Did you have to alter anything, or was that what you were expecting from this race?
Yeah, I didn't know what our overall times would be, but for the most part, I stuck to my original strat from the beginning. I did notice in practice that a few others started to do the mediums and softs, so then I didn't really know what to think because I couldn't manage softs for more than 3 laps, so I figured mediums were best for me.
Well, yeah, you did what works for you, and I mean that's always the best thing to do. If it works for you, stick with it, and it surely paid off. Congratulations on that P2. What a great way to start season 7 of the NRL. JK, do you have any questions for our P2 sitter, Mr. Cole Trickle?
I do. My fellow full acceleration force team member. Hello, Cole, mate. Just quickly, it was on the start actually, seeing Papa just shoot out of the blocks like that. What was going through your head at the start of the race there when that happened?
In my mirror, I saw 2 cars flying up, and I thought we were all dead. And I was like, "Uh-oh, this ain't good." So I tried to stay as wide as I could just to, help avoid whatever. Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, yeah, Papa came out flying, and
That too, though, I was thinking maybe they're not doing any type of fuel saving. That was probably my biggest issue throughout practice was I wasn't able to fuel save well, so I was in the pit for a long time fueling up, and so I think that was the main key to this strat was fuel save.
You had an incredible race, Cole. Congratulations. Yeah, well done. I look forward to seeing you in the next race.
Perfect, thanks.
Indeed,
Take care, guys.
indeed. And Hovercraft, do you have anything for Mr. Cole Trickle?
Yeah, first off, congrats on P2. You know, it's great to see you up here in the commentator's booth for the interview. You know, the beginning of the race was very contentious between you and like the top 4, top 5 guys. What were your thoughts? You know, managing all the battles, and did you enjoy those beginning fights?
I wanted to get out and around away from other cars. So, I mean, battling's fun. I thought maybe I could fuel save better in the draft, but in the end, I thought it was more safe to be out on my own, away from other cars. So I did rev it out a little bit, compromising a wee bit of fuel that I did save originally. So really didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I guess it worked out pretty good. And shout out to the guys at P1 and P3 there. Good race.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean it was a great showing between you guys, and yeah, it was a very fun battle to overwatch, and we're hoping to see plenty more throughout the season. So congrats on the P2.
Thank you. I was just wondering, am I going to need to send in screenshots of my breathalyzer?
That is
okay.
actually not a rule for NRL. I think that only has to do with your local police department.
I'll do your breathalyzer for you, Cole. It's okay.
Just making sarcastic jokes.
Oh, Cole.
Cheers, Cole.
Great to have you here. Can't wait. I mean, I'm sure we'll see you back on the podium as the season goes on, but well done. And go ahead and max out what the breathalyzer would read now that you're finished racing.
All right, good job. Take care, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Cole. Take care, mate.
And now we have P3 Felmora, the only podium sitter that moved up a place. Felmora starting P4, taking advantage of some mistakes from the other drivers up into P3. Well done, Felmora. How are you feeling after that race?
A bit lucky with the fuel at the end there, and I had some fun while I was on the track, so it was good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm curious, when McNaughty put up this combo, what went through your head?
Well, I spent about 5 hours that night practicing and figured out some of the nuances such as fuel. And then I haven't really practiced all week until yesterday. So I'm glad it stuck with me, but the medium seemed to work best for me. It's just Caper kept me on my heels there with my fuel issues. So, but I burnt more than I expected, but that was lucky.
Well, it paid off, and I mean, you did a phenomenal job moving up one position to get that podium step, and I'm sure we'll see you a lot this season. Hovercraft, do you have any questions for Filmora?
Yeah, in qualifying, you know, you qualified P4, great result there. But what were your thoughts when you saw Shadologist just drop 6/10 faster than P2? Like, were you kind of scared there? Were you kind of having second doubts, or like, what was your thought processing such a more efficient qualification?
I didn't have any reference to anybody walking into today's qualifying, so I walked in doing the best I could, noticing that he dropped that time that was maybe not going to win or really get onto the podium. But I did my best time in quali today, so that kind of probably boosted my confidence going forward. So it didn't deter me too much because I walked in knowing that we had to fuel save, you had to respect the tires. Maybe could have started with softs with the way the weather started, but I didn't want to deviate too much and try new stuff. So.
Very good, very good. And JK, any questions for Filmora?
Yeah, just a couple actually. I mean, bearing in mind that you're telling us you didn't do too much practice, you've done an incredible job to get to a podium. I suppose one question is, I suppose you'd wish you'd probably practiced a bit more. You could have maybe gone for the race win. And also, what were your thoughts about the car with regards to how it handled and you know how you drove it?
Yeah, the lack of practice wasn't my choice. Work's been interesting. I'm actually in the middle of a migration for a project right now. I'm on my lunch, so trying to squeeze these in when I can. And the car, I didn't mind it too much. It felt a little bit heavy, so I know I had to turn in a little bit earlier. I had to sit on the brakes a little bit. I had to back off my brake sensitivity because I was noticing I was too hard into the corners, killing my tires and kind of braking too much into the apex. But once I kind of figured that out on Saturday, and I did a couple 1 hour stints every once in a while, I think I felt more comfortable. You could brake too much in this car, and that's where the weight really throws you.
Nice one. Thanks. Again, congratulations.
Thank you very much, guys.
Excellent. Very good, Fillmore. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the P3. Excited for this Division B. It's going to be a spicy one. I believe this season. Sheldo has his work cut out for him. But right now, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere except for, to go to the bathroom or get some food. Then come right back because we got Division A. And it's going to be a doozy, y'all. So quick word from our sponsors, and then we will be right back.
Don't forget to thumbs up.
Hi, I'm Mark Goldstein, and welcome to Hankey's. We are located in the heart of Old Town Florissant, 901 North Lafayette, a few blocks down from Sacred Heart Church and Hendel's Market Cafe. This local establishment started in 1926. The Hankey's family bought the bar from the Schraders in 1955 and then turned into what it is today, Hankey's Tavern. And in 2021, a group of local investors became owners of Hankey's Tavern. Recently, we went from a dirt pile to a full-fledged patio, which has bags and washers, entertainment on Friday, Saturday night, which we hope to extend that. We have extended our kitchen hours, which was a request for many, many years. We do have draft beer back after a 12-year lull of no draft beer. We have brought that back with Budweiser as our mainstay, since this was a Budweiser bar in 1926, right before Prohibition.
We're still doing the crinkle cut fries and our cheeseburger platters, but now we have a couple new creative ideas that our kitchen staff has came up with. So come in and try our homemade chicken lollipops. We smoke them fresh daily and then fry them and top them with a Asian butter sauce, and then topped with green onions as well. That's our biggest hit right now that we have on our menu. Each and every day we make fresh sauces, and we take pride in that. We feel like we have a very good variety of sauces that pair well with our appetizers. Whether you want to come in here for lunch with just you and a buddy, or you want to come in here with you and your whole group of people, whether it's 20 people, 200 people, we feel like we can accommodate everyone and anybody.
As of this year, we've done something that it hasn't happened in the history of this establishment. We do accept credit cards. We established a Hankey's Helps non-for-profit organization that reaches out to friends in need. Hankey's is a community bar. We have a lot of the regulars from years past still attending. We have a lot of the regulars that have left our area that are coming back in droves to see what's going on. Hours of operation is from 11 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. The kitchen hours are from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. Find out more information about Hanky's on our Hanky's Facebook page, Hanky's Tavern. We put the band, when the bands are going to be here, the events are going to be here. Come join us at Hanky's Tavern for a burger and a beer. You'll enjoy all the new items that we have, and you'll enjoy all our new improvements. So we look forward to seeing you in the future. Again, join us on our Facebook page, or you can call us at 314-386-1525 to get a carry-out order, or if you have any questions.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you are all ready for some more intense racing because we have Saturday Division A. But before we get into all of that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the standings after the Division B race. So looking here, we have Friday Division B standings, or no, Saturday. Typo there. Sheldologist in P1 with 29 points. Cole Trickle in P2 with 21 points. Belmora in P3 with 18 points. Krulov in P4 with 13 points. We have Caper in P5 with 12 points. Digital Relay in P6 with 11 points. Then Pelias Pangolin in P7 with 7 points. Stumpy in P8 with 6 points. Papa in P9 with 4 points. Jimmy in P10 with 3 points, tied with SF Oak, Shadow Chef, all having 3 points. Then we have PHG Arrow with 2 points and BHR Johnny Boy with no points. You might be asking yourself how some of those drivers have more points than what they got in that race, and that is because of the way we do our qualifying at the beginning of the season. So some of those drivers had some extra points in their pocket from their qualifying positions. Now we're going to take a look at our Division A Round 1 race. Here we have it. Hovercraft, do you mind taking us through this round of info, sir?
Of course, for the Saturday Division A side, we're going to be racing around Brazil's famous Interlagos with the Alfa Romeo 4C Group 3 cars. Of course, it's going to be a 10-minute qualifying grid start with a false start check. Simple BOP, everyone's allowed to change up their brake balance. 19 laps, as I said before, 5 times tire wear. Fuel consumption is going to be at 3, refueling at 2 liters per second, so a little bit better than last race, and of course heavy damage. Everyone has to run the softs at least once in the race. It's a very famous combination. We see it a lot in nations, we see it a lot in manufacturers, and we're going to see one hell of a race tonight.
Oh, I agree. This is one of those ones where I was like, well, first of all, I would never make Division A, but if I did make Division A, this is one of those races I would love to be a part of. I love this track and car combo. Let's take a look at how the point scoring works. This is done kind of F1 style, with the race winner getting 25 points, second place 18 points, third place 15 points, and then 4th through 10th working their way down, 10th getting 1 point. So you got to finish in the top 10 to score points. We also give a fastest lap 1 point for the fastest lap, but only if you are in the top 10. Top 14 drivers overall after round 4 move on to the finals. Now we're going to take a look at our Saturday Division A driver lineup. JK, will you take us through these drivers and their socials, if applicable?
I sure will. So you've got Cotton Ballistic from the Moose Mafia Racing. You've got Bubba Gido from Full Acceleration Force. I should be able to say that better because it's my teammate. Then you've also got FAF Slowpoke Rods, FAF Wade. So there's 3 of my teammates there. You've got Island Grown from the he's a free agent, and his socials are on YouTube, so please go check him out. You've got Jorge Senior, who we all know from Papa House of Games, and we've also got Oak or Naranjo, also known on here, and he's from the Moose Mafia Racing, and you can check his socials out on Twitch. You've got S7R's Nuke, and you can check out Sector 7 Racing, their socials there for Nuke. You've got PDX Roland, who's from the Poxim. I can't read that team, that's it. Sorry, it's really small on my screen. I do apologise. Yeah, that's PDX, that's it, right. You've got PhD Josh Moment from Papa House of Games. You've got Sector Racing 7 again, Mr. Racing. And you can check his socials out on YouTube. You've got Slick VR2 from Papa House of Games, and check out his socials also on YouTube. And you've got Talon, who's a free agent, and then the Kai, who is also a free agent.
Excellent. We got a lot of returning drivers here who show how talented they are in previous seasons. It's going to be interesting. Like you had alluded to, Hovercraft, this is a combo that most GT7 drivers are familiar with. What are you thinking as far as how close these qualifying times are going to be with these top caliber drivers?
I think there is going to be, an understandable field spread up and down the field, but it's not going to be as large as we saw in the Division B race, right? The Division B race is a road car, technically a VGT, but a road car nonetheless. And that was a very tricky car with how much you had to control the mechanical grip. Here, we're very much into the roots of Gran Turismo 7, right? We have GR3 machinery. We have a racetrack that every GT7 driver has at least raced on once, right? This is a very familiar territory, very familiar ground. So we're gonna see some very close combat throughout the entire race tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And, sometimes you look at this on paper and you're like, well, this is just another daily, or this is just another nations. But the difference is the drivers that we have in here. JK, you got a lot of teammates in here. I know you're fast. I know you speak highly of these drivers. So what is going to make this different from just your typical daily, having the type of drivers we have in this race?
The biggest part is the tyre management over dailies. Dailies don't generally have the tyre management issue, so that's the biggest thing that we're going to find on this race is the drivers trying to manage those tyres around. Fuel, from what I understand and from what I've seen, fueling is not too bad as long as you don't over rev this too much. I think you can get around without having to refuel. With regards to strategies, you could do a soft, you could do a soft medium. They're pretty much the 2 options really, or medium soft. Which way you do that? If it was me, I'd probably take the soft at the end of the race because the fuel will be lighter, so there'll be putting less load into those tyres. But yeah, they're the biggest differences compared to a daily. And also, we've got top drivers. Everyone in this field is incredible.
This is no joke. As we look at Cotton Ballistics, he's part of Moose Mafia, MMR. Points gained last round 5, Saturday Division A, P7. Very, very nice NRL debut. So he did score some points by getting a good qualifying time. I love seeing these new drivers. Cotton Ballistics showing up big in his MMR Alfa Romeo. I will say I was surprised I didn't own this car. I realized I really haven't used the Group 3 Alpha. I've used the Group 4 Alpha quite a bit. So I did do some laps around here, watch some drivers go, and honestly, this is one of my favorite tracks because it gets so spread out. And then as soon as you get in this sector we're in right now, the middle sector, it's like an accordion. It spreads out and then comes right back in. And it really makes for some great racing, whether you watch F1 or endurance racing with WEC. Like, this track always brings about some amazing stuff. There's tons of overtaking opportunities, whether it's T1 into the Senna S's, T4, or going into the tight twisty bits trying to dive up the inside, as Talon takes pole position currently with a 132.348. Looks like 132s all around so far. Jorge Sr., no surprise.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Up to P1, first driver into the 131s. Indeed, as we look at FAF Wade, tell us about Wade here, JK.
Wade is an incredible driver. He is so consistent, it's ridiculous. You know, you can look at his stats down here, you know, last round 5th, current standings are P8, career starts 4. He's not won any, he's had 1 podium and 4 top 10, so you can see how consistent he is, and you'll see for his lap time. He's like a robot. He just puts it in there, and do you know what? In all seriousness, he's a proper nice guy.
Even better. And your countryman, though, the Kai, taking pole position away from Jorge Sr. with a 131.695. So looks like the battle is on between Jorge and the Kai. We're on board. Looking back to Jorge Sr., he is a teammate of mine, Papa's House of Games, and he got 5 points because of his qualifying position. Saturday Division A standings P1. That's right. He is an NRL champion, and he's coming back for more, but the Kai is going to make it difficult for him, as well as Wid over on the Friday splits. We see Jorge Sr. going in the pits. What do you know about strategy for qualifying, Hover, as far as when to come in the pits?
You know, you're going to probably try to do 1 or 2 hot laps right off the start and then come in, right? You're seeing as some of these drivers come into the pits, the tires do wear quite a lot, especially with a high fuel load. So your first 1 or 2 hot laps are really just set to, you know, to set a banker. But also you're trying to reduce your fuel load as much as possible. So when you come in, you get a fresh set, you may go a little bit slow on the out lap. That way you have, you know, fresh set of tires on the lowest fuel possible for your final hot lap.
Indeed, and as we were talking there, we see the Kai and Jorge in the pits. Oak K. Naranjo choosing to stay out, and it was the right choice because he put in a 131.838, able to leapfrog Jorge. But I imagine we'll see Oak come into the pits next, as we are on board with Talon. I feel like if you don't know Talon, you're not in the GT7 YouTube sphere, because I don't know about you.
He's everywhere.
Talon is a mod on everybody's channel. He was my first mod on my channel. I know he's a mod on McDonald's Pop. Like, basically, Talon is GT7.
Yeah. Talon is everywhere, and he's a super fast driver, and he's probably one of the hardest drivers I've ever come across to try and overtake, because he's just so good at positioning his car. So
yeah, K. Naranjo here, having set that lap previously, it looked like he is not looking to set another one. I imagine we see him go in the pits. He is part of Moose Mafia Racing. I've gotten to know Oak quite a bit over the last year or so through NRL, through MMR, through PHG. Really awesome person, does a great job when it comes to stewarding, and is obviously a very fast racer. Speaking of fast racers, we're on board with PHG Josh Moment, someone also I've gotten to know very well. And also, Josh Moment had a birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Josh Moment.
Happy birthday.
He's almost out of his teens now. He's getting close to the 20s. but he is part of the Papa's House of Game, formerly a member of the BHR community, still actively involved with Brigsby and BHR. He got 5 points due to his qualifying position last week. Saturday Division A standing P5. Career, he's got 1 start, which was last week. 0 wins, 0 podiums, but he did get a very solid qualifying time. Josh is also a controller player, but he does own a wheel. But like we were talking about before the broadcast, it's a big adjustment going to some new kit. And when you're a really fast driver like y'all are and Josh is, it's hard to give up those seconds to learn the new process. So Josh sticking with controller, thoroughly enjoying it, going into the pits, very quick driver. As we look at your teammate Hovercraft, S7R Nuke, somebody I got to race with recently and thoroughly enjoyed. Can you tell us about Nuke a little bit, Hovercraft?
Yep, he's, the team leader of S7R, one of the greatest teams to have ever graced, ever graced GT7. But no, he's a really great guy. Me and him have met, I think we met like 4 or 5 years ago, somewhere around there. And,
wow, yeah.
it's been a long journey between both of us. And yeah, it's great. We have a great team dynamic. He's putting all the work to organize everybody, get us into these leagues, and get us into these spaces. And we couldn't have gone anywhere as big as we are without him. So, great guy.
Very awesome. Yes, I finally stepped into the world of the S7R with the IRO Sprint Championship, and holy smokes, is it a good time. As we look on board with PDX Roland, a newer member of the PDX crew. And for those who aren't familiar, our sponsor, Dumb Guys Do Racing podcast, they are members of the PDX crew. And they are fast and they work hard and they practice together. If you haven't checked out their latest episode with our very own GT Slow-Mo, very cool to hear them talk about themselves practicing and learning and working hard to do better for everybody. As we're coming to the end of qualifying here, how many drivers across the line? Wade up to P2. Very nicely done. Improvement there from S7R's Mr. Racing. A penalty for Josh Moment. Unfortunate. Next across the line, FAF Slowpoke Rods moves up to P11. And I see S7R's Nuke stays the same, but does improve. Island Grown 777. Can he improve? No, he doesn't. Tough one for Island. The Kai, no improvement. Oak, no improvement. And it looks like that is our standings. The Kai, P1. FAF Wade coming in hot with P2.
Yeah.
And Oak
that
in P3.
Kai, incredible. Oh no, Jorge.
Jorge was on a flyer but picked up a pen. That is unfortunate. Unfortunate. All right. I might be a little biased being a PHG member, but are you surprised that Jorge is in P4, JK?
Yeah, I am. I think maybe he got caught out with with his outlap. Obviously, picking up a penalty there, he probably didn't quite realise the sheer pace of everyone that's going to be here. I mean, the Kai's time is absolutely bonkers. So, yeah, well done.
Well done indeed. Thinking about how this worked out, I mean, drivers did different strategies there. Not everyone pitted at the same time, but it was good to see, plenty of space given on a track that it gets bunched up pretty quickly. Drivers did a good job of making space and allowing each other to pull through. It looks like we have 5 drivers managing to tip their toes into the 31s. Bobagito, so close to Jorge Sr. And I mean, Jorge and Bobagito both very close to Oak. A little bit of time between Oak and Wade, and then a bit of a gap, I'd say, between the Kai and Wade. Wouldn't you say, Hovercraft?
Yeah, a bit of a gap, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna, that Kai is just gonna run off to the sunset. Strategy is still a play at here. For all we know, Kai may not be as great at saving tires as Wade has. So, Wade and the rest of the field doesn't necessarily, not have a shot at winning, but it's a very great showing right off the bat with this first qualifying session of the season, not
Indeed.
including pre-quali.
Exactly. And so I'm going to come back to you, Hovercraft. Where do you think that maybe top 5 start on softs, or where do you think the transition from starting on softs to mediums will happen, or do you think everyone will start on the mediums?
I think possibly the top 3, 4, maybe 5 will start on the softs, but that also depends on how comfortable they are with running the softs. Because ultimately, if you start on softs, you're going to have less laps on the softs than compared to someone switching to the softs at the end, right? You have a
Mm.
much higher fuel load. You are also banking on the fact that since you're out on front, you're not going to be fighting anybody. But that doesn't necessarily mean those things will happen. So even if you are at the front, for example, Kai, he may not feel comfortable risking the softs at the beginning because he might waste them if he gets into a fight with Wade, Oak, or Jorge. So he might prefer to start on the mediums and have that softs to at least match everybody else at the end. It really depends on how comfortable these guys are with the more aggressive strategy.
Indeed, indeed. Great insight there. Let's go ahead and take a look here. We have obviously the Kai, our lone British countryman here with a 131.361. Very impressive lap. P2 FAF Wade, 131.767, just 4/10 off of pole. Then we have K Naranjo, aka Oak, with a 131.838. Very, very tight between him and Wade. P4 Jorge Sr. with a 131.929. And we have FAF's Bobagito with a 131.978. Cotton Ballistics in P6 with a 132.338. Then we have Talon, oh so close to Cotton, with a 132.348. Then just barely over a second off of pole, we have in P8 S7R Nuke with a 132.429. Then in P9, we have Josh Moment with a 132.540. Just behind him, ever so slightly, that is 5/1000ths of a second. PDX Roland with a 132.545. And P11 FAF Slowpoke Rods with a 132.692. PHG Slick SHVR2 with a 132.7. Then we have S7R's Mr. Racing with a 132.979. And rounding up the field, we have Island Grown with a 133.129. Wow. That was not as tight, if I'm being honest, as I thought it would be, but also still very tight. What do you think, JK?
Yeah, the Kai isn't, and for the pole is in a league of his own, and then is very tight after that. Yeah, just a great lap by the Kai. To be fair, I'm sure the race is going to be a lot closer than what the pole position and times suggest. Like I said, the tyres are a big issue. I also think that controller drivers, so ones that are not using a steering wheel, I think they might struggle a little bit with tyre degradation. And so that plays its own factor into, unless your name's Shaggy, and then you can manage tyres no matter what.
There you go. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And this is one of those tracks where, for me, honestly, usually my qualifying pace and my race pace are about the same. But this is one of those tracks that you can really, really push in quali and get one heck of a time. And then when it comes to the race, yeah, you really can't do that. Especially, I mean, there aren't multiple lines here. Yeah, you can go up the inside on some turns. If you're really talented, maybe you can go around the outside of turn 4, maybe. But
Yeah.
it is tricky to overtake in a lot of these places. And you know, when you're trying to manage fuel, yeah, we have a slightly higher fuel rate, right? We're at ×2 instead of ×1, something like, or we're at 2 liters instead of 1 liter. Um, but I do think fuel is going to be a factor. Do you expect to see some fuel saving hovercraft?
Absolutely. I think we're going to be seeing fuel savings mostly just so similar to the Division B race, just so you don't get jumped into the pit stop phase. But they're going to have to be careful as to where they're going to, where they choose to short shift, right? We have that long straight on the start finish line and a more minier straight, but still a straight right after the Senna S's. So, if they get caught out short shifting there, they can leave themselves open to an easy dive bomb down the inside.
Indeed. And also the pit exit here does put you on that straight you were talking about right before turn 4. So that's always an interesting one. Long pit exit. You're not quite up to speed as the driver's coming out of the Senna S's, but it does put you on the inside. So that could be interesting if drivers opt for different strats. But I mean, I'm looking here, and from what I've seen, if drivers start on the softs, they try to go 7 laps, switch to mediums, and then vice versa. You take the mediums around 11 laps and then switch to 7. So it will be interesting to see, as I believe our drivers have made are about to make their way to the grid. As far as that strategy goes that I was talking about, JK, is that what you're thinking? 7, 7, 11, 11, 7?
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. If you're asking me what I would do, I'd probably start on the mediums and then on the softs. I think I'd just be more
Finish
comfortable
on.
with the tire degradation on the softs. I did want to just say that the Dumb Guys Do Racing podcast is incredible. I listen to that every Wednesday when I travel into London for work. So I go into work in the office one day a week, and I listen to that on the train down and back. So yeah, I love it. It's brilliant. So definitely give it a watch. Listen.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm almost finished with Slow Mo's episode. I recently started a garden in my backyard, so I've been listening to it while I'm gardening out there, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And the name says it all. They are dumb guys, and they do racing, but they're hilarious. They're so kind.
Yeah,
Really
good
really
bunch.
good stuff. And they're quick. That's the thing, is they're fast drivers, as we saw PDX Sim yesterday, and we have another PDX driver in here as well.
Mm.
And it, and
Yeah, they talk the talk and walk the walk, which is good
yes,
because what they're saying is true. They're not just making it up or they've heard it from someone else.
I will say their VR elitism is a little much, but I appreciate it as someone who owns VR, but uh, isn't competitive in VR yet. Um, it is
I
awesome. It
transitioned
is
to
fun.
I transitioned to VR probably about 2 months ago now, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 3 months ago, and it's definitely I love it. And then I've just recently, as in a couple of days ago, transitioned to a Fanatec wheel, so I'm learning all new things at the moment.
Woo woo!
Yeah,
Big
I know.
boss.
I'm big pimping now.
There we go. Spending the cheese, as they say.
That's right.
And yeah, it's
Cheddar I haven't got.
exactly. Exactly. But yeah, the Dumb Guys Do Racing PDX Sim crew, great group of guys. Very very cool. I know our very own McNaughty got to meet some of them in real life, which was really cool. It's always fun to get to meet these people in real life. I've been fortunate enough to meet I've gotten to hang out with Toon, gotten to hang out with Arrow, PHG Papa, C Turbo, Turtle Shell. I know I'm missing somebody else, but it's fun to make your way around and actually get to interact with these people. I was talking about it on my stream yesterday. It's crazy that like when you think about it, like we've most of us have known each other online for at least 3 years. Hovercraft, you were saying you and Nuke have known each other even longer than that, and so it's funny to think that, we spend multiple nights, if not multiple, like the whole week talking to each other, and really cool community. And I'm definitely glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's interesting as to how social racing is, especially on GT7 and other games as well. iRacing, ACC, Le Mans Ultimate. These little racing bubbles are just so they force interaction with one another, which is great
Yep.
to see. There's plenty of stories of these different teammates. From not just different sides of the USA, but also different sides of the world. Just
Hmm.
meeting up at be it World Tour event or maybe a real life racing event like a Formula One race or a WEC race or something like that. It's just so interesting to hear all these stories of these interconnecting drivers that just want to hang out because hey, I dive bombed you and crashed you out that one race, and now we're friends.
Yeah, now we're
It's,
If
friends.
you if you ever get to England, lads, you give me a shout. I'll come and meet you for a pint.
For show, for show.
And
Yeah, that's
yeah, if I ever
been.
get to America, I'll be driving around coming to meet some of you guys. I'm sure.
Yeah, get ready to drive for a long time.
Yes, America's big from what I hear.
It's big. I live in South Central Texas. It's 3 hours to Mexico, almost 7 hours to Oklahoma, 6 hours to Louisiana or Arkansas, and about 10 hours to New Mexico, just to
And
get
probably
out of
about
the
2 hours.
state I'm in.
I was going to say it's probably about 2 hours to get to your local shop as well, in it in Texas. It's that big.
Right? It's crazy. It's crazy, but it is fun. And like you were saying, hovercraft, it has been mostly around racing. Like Papa Hector, that was one who I forgot. Uh, Turtle Shell Arrow. We all hang out at the 24 Hours of Daytona, and then I'm only an hour from the Circuit of America's Coda. And so me, Turbo, my brother Augustella, and Hector, we get together every year for the Lone Star Le Mans Wex race at Coda, and it's a good time. And I actually PhD Banana met us there as well, and it's cool. It's really cool to be able to do those things, and we all love the same thing. We're all here for the same reason, and that's great racing. And NRL is the peak when it comes to Gran Turismo leagues. I mean, there are great ones out there. We've mentioned, Sector Seven's IRO stuff, PHE World Series, but like NRL is something else. McNaughty can't say enough about how great of a job he does, and he is kind of pioneered this type of broadcast that wasn't really there prior to the NRL. And, we've all done a good bit of copying it in our various leagues that we are also a part of. And so, I mean, McNaughty paving the way. And he even said in his stream when he took a little break after last season and came back, and he said 2026 is the year of GT7 league racing, and we're kicking it off here, and I think it's pretty impressive.
absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely a trendsetter, and the things he's doing, and he is meticulous to detail. And I'm sure he'll say that himself, but he's like that, and you get this product that he's produced and that we're all part of is absolutely amazing, and I'm really chuffed to be a part of it and seeing it grow. So yeah,
Yeah, it's been really good. And I did see speaking of the dumb guys do racing, PDX Jimbo's one of them guys on the
he is,
podcast.
yeah, and Jimbo.
He definitely wants to make sure everyone hits that like button. Please do like and subscribe. It does make a difference, believe it or not. The YouTube algorithm is crazy, and it requires such things as liking and subscribing. Also, if you want to donate to the league, this is a community funded league. Um, there is a link to donate directly, or you can do a YouTube super chat, super sticker, gifted memberships. All that goes into the overall pot for the league. That pot gets distributed to the drivers based on where they place, and also to all of us in the production, stewards, behind the scenes. McNaughty does not take a dime, by the way. This is all for the community. So please consider that if you are able to. I just made sure the link got put there for the direct link so that YouTube doesn't take a cut. But if you want YouTube to take a cut, you can do the super chat, super stickers, or gifted memberships. Sounds like everything's getting squared away. We had some issues with drivers getting on the grid, but now they are making their way. And the Division A Round 1 Saturday drivers is about to commence. And let me tell you, I'm excited.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see this go on. I'm actually, do you know what? I'm actually excited to see Jorge get through the pack. I've seen in many races recently him at the front or near the front. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Anyway, there you go, TKs.
I agree. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Having the likes of Jorge, Bobagito, Cotton Ballistics, Talent, and Nuke all starting behind the top 3 drivers is going to be interesting as all lights are on. The engines are revving, and here we go. The Kai taking off. It looks like Wade gets a good jump. Everyone jockeying for position further back as we come into T1 to the Senna S's. Looks like the Kai is clear, but goes a bit deep. And Jorge Sr. already up to P2. Just like that, he is on the outside, but that becomes the inside of Wade. And what a leap from Jorge, going all the way back up in front of Oak, up in front of Wade, and it looks like Oak and Wade side by side there. No, they tuck in. Oak taking the position. Bobagito in P5. And it looks like Cotton Ballistics going on the outside. Talon up the inside. Talon moving up the order as well as we see back and forth. But this is going to be advantage Cotton Ballistics because he is now on the inside to the double apex right-hander. But Talon's not giving any way, but it's going to be tough for him. But he's late on the brakes. He's trying to go around the outside. It will be the inside. And here's the accordion section I was talking about. Everything bunches up, and you can see Talon moving up, and Josh Moment now just behind.
Driver. I told you he's a tough driver to pass.
So difficult, and we see 2 wide even further back. And what a start. Josh Moment getting ahead of Slick, but Slick fighting it very hard. Slowpoke Rods in P10, and Slick up the inside of Josh Moment onto the long straight, getting a better exit. This is going to hurt Josh big time. I think FAF Slowpoke Rods will be able to take advantage of that. Wouldn't you say, JK?
Yeah, he should have him. You should have him on the brakes towards turn 1. There you go. He's going to do it now. Josh has gone defensive though. He's gone taking the inside line. It's not going to be easy.
Not going to be easy at all, but it looks like, a little out of touch there with Slick running deep. This clusters everyone up, and it looks like Slowpoke, this is working out great in Josh's favor as Slick went deep, causing the other 2 drivers to get caught behind them. I'm curious, Hovercraft, what are we looking at tire-wise here?
Everyone started on the mediums besides Jorge, Oak, or Naranjo, and Wade, and this has caused a ripple effect. The Kai already down to P5, Jorge making up the 3 position, P4, and is in the lead already. I don't know if this is going to be a horrible decision call from Kai because, again, Wade and Oak are going to have to run the softs shorter than the Kai, and we're going to see how much Kai can regain on a fresher set of softs later into the race.
Oh my goodness, this is incredible. So those drivers, the soft tires definitely paying off. Wade falling back, and a big shout out to Gadget Guy Texas, $20 donation super chat. Gadget Guy Texas in Plano, Texas. Video game console repair. So if you are in the DFW area and you need a console repair, reach out to Gadget Guy. He might be able to help you out. So here we go. Cotton Ballistics side by side with Josh Moment. Josh Moment into P7, coming up, making his way through. Cotton Ballistics in P8. He's got Slick behind, and just ahead of them is Talon going through the Senna S's. I love this part of the track. When you get it right, you know you got it right, and it feels good.
It really does. The thing is, it's so close to getting it right and to crashing.
Exactly, and if you take too much of that inside curve, as you see PDX there trying to go up the inside, does he get it slowed down? Is there contact? Slick getting run wide. Unfortunate for Slick. NVR comes back in with contact, and Josh Moment. Oh no, that's Island Grown further back, and there we go. PDX rolling with a half-second penalty. Oh my goodness, I don't know exactly what happened there. What
I'm
did we
not sure
see
what
here,
happened
JK?
there,
Yeah, talk us through it.
It's a few cars being hit. Slick gets knocked quite hard actually by I can't see who that is.
Looks like slowpoke rods.
Yeah, he got hit by, and it's sort of massive implications to everybody else going in there. So yeah, a bit unfortunate for Slick, and unfortunate for Roland as well, to be honest, to pick up that half second. He was almost a passenger in all that whole thing.
Indeed, and it looks like Nuke is way off the pace of the rest of these guys, so that is going to be hard. We did not talk about how brutal the penalty is here. You're going uphill on the longest portion of the track where you're flat out, and you really lose out there. So I imagine Nuke will start to catch up as we see Jorge is now in the lead, Oak in P2 and FAF Wade in P3. The Kai has made his way back up into P4, dispatching Bobagito there in the background. Looking at Oak here coming into turn 4. Everybody's getting it smooth now. The curbs here are a bit tricky. Sometimes you want to abuse them and sometimes they will unsettle the car. But it looks like everybody's getting it on as we ride on board in the VR view with FAF's Bobagito on the racing mediums, the Kai as well on the mediums, drivers ahead on the softs. So evenly matched here when it comes to Strat, as the Kai takes so much of that apex. Looking at Bobagito's driver card here, part of the full acceleration force. He had 5 points from the qualifier. Saturday Division A standings, currently P4. He's got 8 career starts, 2 wins, 5 podiums, and 8 top 10s. So this is a driver that knows how to win in Division A as we see him coming around the final corner of this track. Looks like the Kai got a bit of a better exit there, able to pull away, but Bobagito still able to stay within the slipstream as we go back to the battle for P7. Josh Moment trying to hold off Cotton Ballistics. Cotton Ballistics well within the toe. Is he going to make a move? Is Josh going to go defensive? No. Cotton Ballistics up the inside into T1, but obviously that does leave Josh on the inside through the S's. Josh maintaining the position, but no. Cotton Ballistics able to take P7 off Josh, but now we're on to the second longest straight to P4. Josh Moment going to be in the slipstream of Cotton Ballistics. Is he going to make a move or settle in? Only time will tell. Looks like Josh not close enough.
Yeah, Cotton Ballistics done that to perfection. He stopped Josh from getting on the accelerator on the left, on the exit of that, the center S's. It's perfect, like textbook.
Textbook indeed. Yeah, sometimes just placing your car where it needs to be. As we look at S7R's Mr. Racing, another younger driver in Division A. Newt Hovercraft, can you talk us a little bit about Mr. Racing and what you know about your teammate?
What I know about him is that his left arm is currently in a cast. I forget if he sprained it or broke it, but you know, high school sports would do that to you. It's a bit unfortunate, but whatever he does today is going to be achievement in itself. It's similar to Moose's pendants getting removed, still getting a P6 yesterday. We're hoping to see the same from Mr. Racing today.
Wow, that is incredible. I did not know that about Mr. Racing. I just know he is an incredibly fast driver. Based on what you're seeing on your end, Hovercraft, anything standing out to you about this race? Any position changes that are surprising you, or is everything kind of how you thought it would be?
As expected, the top 3 in Jorge, Oak, and Wade are on the softs, and they're kind of running away, but the tires are almost 50% worn. Actually, the right front is about only 33% left. Kai being the front runner on the medium, still having a pretty good set of tires underneath him, so I'm expecting in the next few laps, Kai will become faster than the top 3, meaning Jorge, Oak, and Wade are going to have to start thinking about the pit stop soon.
Yeah, we are approaching that pit window, and that will put the Kai on the front foot, if you will, coming out of the pits on the quicker tire as we ride on board here with Slick and Island Grown not too far behind. Slick trying to catch Slowpoke Rods and Mr. Racing. doing a great job. Fuel is something we did mention, and I don't know, I haven't been paid. I do see short shifting. Okay, so it does look like drivers are thinking about fuel. As we look at Slick SHVR2, he is my teammate in IRO and PHG. He got 5 points for qualifying. He is currently P12, 4 starts, 1 win. So we do know Slick has it in his pocket to be able to win 2 podiums and 3 top 10 finishes. You can find him on YouTube, Slick SHVR2, as he tries to hunt down FAF Slowpoke rods, but unfortunately just out of the slip. And we can see here in the picture-in-picture, Slick in his VR. I love this. This is one of my favorite additions McNaughty has done to the production. We talked about it before the race. NRL cutting edge, as you can see the onboard point of view in VR for Slick. As we ride back on board with the Kai and P4, and this is exactly what you were mentioning there, Hovercraft. The tires are coming to him, whereas Wade, Oak, and Jorge are going to start to struggle. So it's lap 7. This is what we thought. JK, do you think they're coming in?
I think Wade's going to definitely come in. Oak and Jorge, maybe they'll stay out for one more lap just so they have a nicer ride with the softs. The mediums, when they switch over to the mediums. But the Kai at the moment is in a great position. He's probably sitting there on his medium, saving a bit of fuel while sitting behind Wade, knowing that his lap time deltas are looking pretty solid. So I'd imagine Wade will go in this lap.
All right, well, only time will tell as they come around. Here's his opportunity to dive into the pits. A slightly tricky pit entry. You can get a penalty or crash, but it looks like Jorge, all 3 keeping to that 7 laps on the softs. So the 3 of them will come out on mediums. Everyone else staying out to what we assume will be lap 11. I'm curious if anybody tries to pit before that, or maybe goes a little long for an overcut. So we see also in our picture-in-picture the battle for P9. So we have the Kai back in P1, FAF Bobagito P2, Talon P3, Josh Moment P4, Cotton Ballistics P5. Those are our top 5 runners. And currently Jorge Sr. with the fastest lap. That was done on the softs, a 131.775. So you have to imagine that fastest lap will go away when these drivers are on a lighter car in the softs. Hovercraft, you think that's true?
I think, I think overall that will be true. And admittedly, I don't know how it's going to develop quite a bit later on to the race. You know, the Kai being the front medium runner at the moment. But going into the pits, the Kai was only 4.5 seconds behind Jorge on the softs, the front runner of the softs. I don't know if that's enough of a gap, to be fair, because the Kai is going to have 1 or 2 extra laps on the softs when he goes into pits, right? Because he has less fuel, he can run the softs a little bit further. And I'm not really quite sure if that gap that the front runners opened up is enough to cover off the Kai, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm in
very
agreement with
good
you.
point.
Yeah, he's in a really good position. He's in a strong position, and hopefully he realises that, and he's not trying to overdrive the car, trying to catch up to the pace.
Somebody who's in a tricky position is Island Grown, as we see in the picture-in-picture from Island Grown's stream. He is in P11, only 1.2 seconds behind PDX Roland, but he has Jorge, Oak, and Wade behind him, and that's going to be tricky. Even though they are all on the same tire, their tires are fresh, and Wade is in 13th, so ahead of Oak. So a slight position change there.
Must have done it on the fueling potentially, maybe, or unless Oak's had an incident. And it's worth noting, by the way, that those drivers in front of Jorge, they're not blue flags. They're race positions, so they don't have to give up the spot. So this could play into the Kai's hands as well if they want to be awkward and not make it easy for these three guys. It's a massive issue for them.
And I'm all for that. Yeah.
Going along with that, we're expecting these medium runners to run until lap 12, lap 13. So even if Jorge is able to close the gap at the end of this lap, he's gonna possibly have to stick behind for another 2-3 laps trying to navigate the medium runners.
That's right, absolutely. I'd like to compare the Kai and Bobagito's tyre and fuel, actually, just to see what the differences are there, because I know that, we mentioned it before, fueling is definitely a factor here, and it's interesting to see how that's looking.
Looks like half a
So
tank
the Kai's
for the
got half
Kai,
a tank. Yeah, and it is front right and front rear. Right rear and front right are struggling there. And Bob is about the same on fuel, and about the same on tyres as well. So, yeah.
Interesting. Talon actually doing really good on fuel.
Talon's got a lot of fuel.
So he should have a quick pit stop, put a gap between him and Josh Moment. Josh Moment right there at half a tank, but Talon clearly had more fuel. Josh Moment currently sitting in P4, coming through, just following Talon. He is within slip, but that does also mean in these slow sections, the downforce really isn't going to be in his favor, being so close to Talon. So it's going to be interesting, but I do like that point you guys made of how this is playing in the Kai's favor, because with this many laps to go before the medium drivers pit, I mean, that's a lot of traffic to get through that doesn't have to get out of your way. No blue flags like you mentioned, and they're going to have to overtake on track, same tire, different tire wear, and that, I mean, it's all inevitably going to hold up Jorge, Wade, and Oak. As you can see, Oak now trying to get by Island. Jorge and Wade both able to get by, and there we go.
You can see how much time Oak's lost just trying to get around him. Look how much time he's lost.
Yep, a huge gap now between Oak and Wade, as Nuke hitting a bit early, I might say, on the mediums. Or is he? Yeah, he's got to come out on those softs. As he was late on the brakes there. Wow. And some damage from Island as well. Not exactly sure what happened. No damage for Oak. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting race pace, and this is something. Let's take a look at this again. So you can see Island on the inside, Oak on the outside. Oak just on the fresher tires, hardly any tire wear. He gets the inside on Island. And there we go. That was clean textbook into the final corner there. Very nice. But yeah, something that you don't get when practicing, right, JK? You don't necessarily get that traffic when you're running laps with maybe just a few people or just by yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you are practicing, you're generally practicing people that are on similar pace to you. So you're not having to navigate cars with worn tires, and you're on a fresh set of tires, and maybe their technical ability isn't quite where yours is. So it's a massive spanner in the works when you've developed a strategy and then you find yourself sat behind, obviously Telling coming in, you find yourself stuck behind a car with worn tires and you're trying to get past them.
There we go. Josh Moment saying out. Josh Moment, a controller player, which we know is different when it comes to tire wear. Cotton ballistas, slow pokes rods, and we see Jorge Sr. now making a move here on PDX. Roland up the inside. Nothing Roland can do. He leaves the door open and says,
that was
right
smart
this
by
way.
Roland. That was smart by Roland. Although he could have made that difficult because he is racing for position, I think he's seeing the race in its entirety and going, well, if I fight with these lot, it means that I'm going to lose my fight with the people I'm actually racing with, because let's face it, he's not racing for first or third, which Jorge and Wade are. So he's probably trying to make his race time as quick as possible without getting tripped up by these guys as well. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, perfect sense. And that's something, as somebody who is rarely racing for first, is something I do quite regularly. And yeah, it's don't lose any time, but you need to be reminded, and this is something I know for a fact, as we see Wade also making the move there on PDX, and PDX Roland not fighting too much.
Yeah,
but no, back up the inside.
He's playing smart. He's racing it smart. He's not losing time.
Yeah, indeed. And
you'll see Oak now coming up to Wade because Jorge's checked out. Wade needs to get past Roland now. Really.
And now the big question
he's
is,
coming in the pits.
the Kai is in the pits as well. So Josh Moment currently taking the lead. PDX rolling into the pits. That allows Wade free. Jorge Sr. now moving up into P4. Slick Rick still in. Slick BR2.
Wade now.
Oh my goodness.
Wade now.
Strategies are playing out. Jorge
Hat off to
Sr.
Roland,
now
by the way,
on
for
the hunt.
indicating off. He indicates he wants to go. That's great race etiquette.
Very good. And I do know,
If you want to get into racing, definitely do that. It's helpful.
with those PDX guys, I know he's got his teammates in his ear, giving him advice, letting him know what's going on. So they are working together. But now you're right, Oak now all over the back of Wade. Oak, who had kind of fallen off the back of these guys, is now back in it. Jorge, like he said, has checked out a bit. But where is this gonna? Oh my goodness, we still got drivers left to pit. Josh Moment, Mr. Racing, Slick still need to pit. The Kai currently sitting in P8 on the racing softs, yeah. So he is on the quicker tire, and we saw how much that played to the other driver's advantage. We saw how Wade, Jorge, and Naranjo moved up so quickly. Can the Kai come back at them? What do you think, Hovercraft?
Right now, from my rough estimates, the Kai is around 3.7 seconds from Oak, which would be the first of the soft runners or the first of the starting soft runners. And I think he's in a very good position because he now has around 6 laps to make use of a very, very fresh softs, as well as the fact that he has a lower fuel load than what Oak, Jorge, and Wade were doing at the beginning.
Oh, and look at that beautiful overtake.
Around the outside.
Woo! Oak making it look pretty. Back up into P2 where he feels he belongs. And Wade just, I mean, there's nothing he could do there. Oak had the overspeed. He clearly got a good exit out of the final turn there. And Kai in P5, also purple. And just like I thought, the Kai should be setting the fastest lap here, being light on fuel and on the softs. Jorge currently.
I don't think there's enough laps for him to catch. Because if you think he's got to try and overtake Bob, and Bob is not an easy driver to pass. Then he's got to try and overtake Wade, and then after that he's got to try and overtake Oak. I'm not sure. It's going to be close.
And the difference between what Jorge, Oak, and Wade did, they were overtaking people that they weren't necessarily racing against, right? Exactly. Island didn't make it too difficult. Roland didn't make it too difficult. But now these guys are defending. Like, you got to get, this is for position. Bobagito is racing for P4. He does not want to lose that. And you can see what a great exit the Kai had. The Kai's got the pace. Now he's got to make it count into these heavy braking zones as we're about to start lap 15 of 19. So excellent point, as he does take the fastest lap of a 1:31.103. So clearly everyone is on notice now. Everyone knows the fastest man on track is sitting P5. Can he make his way up to the front? I think they are going to make it very difficult, but it's still, he's closing so much on those racing softs. He's got Bobagito in sight, just a matter of when, and it looks like even Bobagito now applying more pressure to Wade. Wade seemingly falling off from Oak there, and now it's going to be a bit of a bottleneck here. Can the Kai get a 2-for-1 special? I'm curious, coming into one of these hairpins. What do you think, JK?
No, this is so hard to overtake. The Kai's soft tyres will have no advantage on this part of the track. So he's now going to be slowed up heavily by these two drivers.
And you can see he's up the inside of Bobagito. There's one driver in the inside of Wade, but this will become the inside for Wade now. He's going to be on the outside, but can he get a little bit of a switcheroo? He still has pressure from Bobagito behind, but now he's pulling away. He's going for it up the inside. No, he backs out, and there goes Bobagito in the back end, and there it is. Oh my goodness, Wade runs deep. This allows his teammate Bobagito able to get ahead. Wade losing 2 positions. The Kai up onto the podium. What do you think about that, Hovercraft?
you know, a little bit of a contact between the three drivers, but it allows Kai to get ahead of the two roadblocks in Boba and Wade. He still has to keep an eye on Boba to make sure he doesn't retaliate going into the final few laps of the race, but he's in a really great spot, only 2.5 seconds behind Oak. He's in a very good spot to try at least take P2 by the end of the race, but I do agree with JK. I think Jorge managed his second set of tires on the mediums very well and navigated the traffic to exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, Jorge surprising us a little bit with qualifying, but no surprises here with the race. We got some top level drivers as we go on board with Cotton Ballistics battling with Talon. Talon in P6, Cotton Ballistics P7, and it looks like those softs are starting to show their tire wear for sure. Cotton Ballistics started P6, is in P7. Talon, however, started P7, now in P6, so drivers swapping positions from where they started. We have a battle for P9 in your bottom right-hand corner between Slowpoke Rods and I didn't see who the other driver was, but now it looks like the pressure is being applied. Is Talon on the mediums or the softs, Hovercraft?
Talon is on the softs. He was one of the medium runners to start, or one of the starters on the mediums.
Okay, so they are on the same tire. It's just a matter of who can deliver the result. As we're about to start lap 17 of 19, this race has gone by incredibly quickly, whereas the Division B race where the laps were incredibly long, this one, very short lap times. A lot happens in each lap, and like we talked about before, this track has an accordion effect as everybody spreads out and then jumps back together. And I mean, you got to shout out PD and Gran Turismo for these graphics. I mean, how realistic do those curves look? That is absolutely incredible. As the Kai now applying pressure, he has officially caught to Oak, and it's up to him to get by. You can see the front right tire wear as he's going around the outside, perhaps a switcheroo, but he's going to be on the outside again, trying to carry it around the outside of this slow, painfully slow corner. Oak putting his car exactly where it needs to be. Again, coming out wide, looking for the cutback. The Kai, nowhere for him to go as Oak again places his car perfectly. Oak is on the mediums, the Kai on the softs, and we are getting a masterclass in defense around here, wouldn't you say, Hovercraft?
Oh, no.
I jinxed him. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
That's released in. Somehow he's managed to. Yeah, he got a bit wide on that. I think he was very conscious that the Kai was going to get a very good exit on the soft, so he just tried very hard. He's going to try and stay inside the first corner.
We're on lap 18 up the inside.
Oh, making this easy for. He's going to go at him again on the next corner.
I don't understand how Oak still got that good of an exit. After that snap, he really did get an excellent exit still. Oh, and look at Bobagito right there.
But don't forget, Bob's on the same strategy as the Kai, so there's no offset in tyre with Bob.
What were you going to say there, Hovercraft?
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe Slick and S7R Nuke made contact going into first place, and I think Nuke went into the barrier.
Oh no! What position was that?
P13, I believe, or I think they were fighting for P11 at the moment, or at the time.
Oh man, that is unfortunate. It does happen, and look at how low these drivers' fuel are as we see Nuke surely with damage. All right, and PDX Roland gets his car in the dirt, and then it looked like a reset there on Nuke. You hate to see it. Roland able to keep it together. That's so easy to do going into turn one because you want to open that corner up, and it's so easy to tap the grass like that, and you're a passenger at that point. We ride on board back with Bobagito, who is now hunting down Oak. K Naranjo, the Kai, off into the distance, looking to hunt down Jorge. You see how defensive Oak goes, and we saw, even though he had that mishap last lap, Oak knows where to place his car. He's doing an excellent job. We are on the final lap in the battle for podium positions is on. Can Bobagito, who started P5, take away P3 from Oak? Oak did start P3, so Oak's just trying to finish where he started. Bobagito trying to make a name for himself, move his way
What's happened
up
to Wade?
the beginning.
Wade's down in P8 now. I just saw a question, seen something from Rick
Oh
as well.
yeah. Oh, look at his tires. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, that's the
He has
reason why
nothing.
he's out. He's gone.
He
He's
pitted
finished.
early. Yeah, there's nothing he can do now. It's going to be a very painful final lap. Bobagito still applying all the pressure. Can Oak hold it off? Oak driving for his life here. Oh my goodness. It looks like, I mean, we only have 2 more turns, and oh, some contact in the background between Talon. The battle for P5 is also on. Talon holding on with Cotton Ballistics, seemingly taking P5. Here we come around the corner. Jorge Sr. from P4 for the win, flashing his lights like a boss. The Kai starting P2 or P1, gonna come across P2. Oak able to hold on for P3. Bobagito P4. Excellent battle, and Talon and Cotton Ballistics. This is a drag race. Who's gonna get it? Talon has the run. Talon keeps it.
Talon's got
Cotton
it.
Ballistics P6. PHG, Josh Moment P7, Slick SHVR2, P8, Slowpoke Rods P9, Mr. Racing 10, Roland 11, Wade, unfortunate. Wade starting P2, but unfortunately gets the strat wrong, finishing P12. Nuke. Oh, Nuke gets by Wade as well. Island in P14, coming around to bring up the rear. And there we have it with some damage. Island also getting ahead of Wade. I guess Wade went into the pits, losing those positions. Oh, that
what a finish!
That was fantizzle-tastic, man. And look at that, up 3 positions, clean race. Unfortunately, no fastest lap, but Jorge Sr. coming out round 1 with the victory. Oh my goodness, JK, will you take us through these results, man?
Of course, I'm exhausted from that. I didn't know what was going on towards the end, but yeah, I will go for it. So you, in P1, you've got Jorge, and then in second place you've got the Kai, and then on third you've got Oak or Naranjo. Fourth you've got Bobagito. Fifth Talon. Sixth Cotton Ballistic. Seventh Josh Moment. Eighth Lick. Ninth, you've got Slowpoke Rods. Number 10, you've got Mr. Racing. 11th, Roland. 12th, Nuke. 13th, Island Grown. And Wade in 14th. And interestingly, he obviously didn't adhere to the tyre regulations and picked up a penalty.
Wow. Didn't adhere to the tire regulations, picking up a penalty, which makes a lot more sense now in hindsight, why he went from P2 all the way to last. What a race. What round 1 kicking off. Hovercraft, your thoughts on what we just saw?
That was action-packed the entire race, right? You know, lap 1 to lap 19, there was a battle somewhere on track. Just to give a little bit of a thought on Kai versus Jorge, I think Kai stayed out 1 lap too long. If he came in on the same lap as Boba, he would have been ahead of him and gone a lot close, or gone to start his soft stint a lot closer to Wade, and to Jorge. I don't know if it would have been enough to take the win away from Jorge. The fact that he pitted 1 lap after Boba and was forced to stay behind him for a little bit really did basically kill his chance outright.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was a lot. There definitely had to be some adjusting on the fly. We'll be able to talk to these drivers and get an idea of what happened. We're going to start here with our winner, moving up 3 positions, the one, the only PHG Jorge Sr. Jorge, Well done, my friend. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. What's up, everyone?
Well,
Hey, what's happening?
tell us about your strategy there. You were the lone medium starter for all those drivers around you. Were you a bit nervous at the start once everybody got by?
I mean, I was the lone soft starter.
That's yeah,
Yeah,
reverse teach.
yeah. No, I mean, I screwed up quali royally bad, and then I didn't really know what to do in terms of the tires. Because of the lobby reset, we kind of had an idea of who was starting on what, and so I just thought, yeah, screw it, I'll just take a gamble, go softs, see what happens. I'd rather be out front and have someone try and catch me or run me down at the end on dead tires rather than be in a straight up fight with them the whole race.
For sure. And you definitely, I mean, you made it look easy. And then again on the qualifying, um, was that your best efforts there, or had you done quicker times in practice?
No, I was doing 30.0s regularly. And in quali, I think I really only did one lap. I did sort of what was a banker lap, not really, and that was a mess. And then I pitted and tried. I was going to have two more flyers. I screwed up one of those and gave up on it. And then the second flyer, which was right when quali was ending, I got a penalty, and it was a trash lap anyways, and quit. So I mean, it was just a major cluster. I mean, the wind kind of caught me out. There was like a big headwind going into T1, which was not a big deal, but then there was, which turned into a big tailwind kind of going into, I don't even know what turn it is, 3 or 4, that left-hander after that straight. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just was having trouble adjusting, I guess. Skill issue.
Well, skill issue aside, you still ended up coming out on top. Well done, sir. JK, any questions for our race winner?
Yeah, I wanted to know. Hi, Jorge. You're right. Well done. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks.
Just quickly, was you always going to start on softs, or was that just purely down to your poor qualifying position? That
Yeah, no, I
just
pretty
take
much.
off?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No,
No,
yeah,
that's right, mate. Go on.
I pretty much always planned on softs. And I mean, not to get ahead of myself, but I thought I'd be closer to the front of the grid. And so I figured I would, like I said, go softs, and then whoever's on mediums will be on softs at the end. But by the time they catch up to me, their softs will be dead. And so, I'd prefer to do. I always like to do it that way. That's kind of like my go-to. People
Yeah,
people swear it's dumb, but I like doing it.
I don't know. I've got a similar idea to you that if I can get out in front, then you've got to try and catch me, and then it's psychological mind games at the same time, then, isn't it?
Right.
So yeah, no, I hear you. Thanks, Jorge. Well done again.
Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. And Hovercraft, how about you, man?
Congrats on the first one of the season, Jorge. We've raced together a little bit these past 2 weeks, and it's great to now being able to commentate over you. What were your thoughts on the on the start? You were aware that you were on the sauce, but Kai, the pole sitter, was starting on the mediums. Did you feel like you had to really get a move on to make sure you could beat him and build up the gap? And what were your thoughts once you got out of the pits, going onto the mediums, and having to go against Island, the first of the I guess back traffic that you had to handle?
Yeah. So I mean, regarding the Kai, I was really worried that I was not going to be able to get around quick enough. So that was obviously my first objective, and luckily I was able to get it done. I think the beginning of lap 2, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I was worried about that because if he would have been able to hold me back, then probably the whole race is shot. And then yeah, when I came out on the mediums, I was like, oh, then I'll have to worry about traffic a little bit, and I don't really think it was an issue. I think Island either ran wide or let me by. I'm not sure. So yeah, I mean, I might have lost a little bit of time, but it was nothing major. So yeah, it was pretty smooth sailing, I guess, sort of.
No, I mean it looked like it looked like it from up here, but congrats on the win. First one of the season. I think it's what, your fourth or fifth overall. I know you had quite a few wins last season, but great start to the campaign of season 7, and congrats. And we're hoping to see you back in this booth going into the next round.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Jorge. Well done. You enjoy the rest of your Saturday. You deserve to do whatever it is that you want to do. You
All
earned
right,
it.
thanks for that. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Absolutely. And before we go to our next driver, I do want to shout out Aero GT7, who we saw in the Division B race. Super chatted $10. Heck of a week one. And you know what? I'll second that. That was a heck of a week one. It was very good. And it looks like we will have our very own Oak MMR as our next driver, as the Kai is not able to make it in here.
Hello,
And
hello.
so, well done, Mr. Oak. You
Thank you.
had a great race and it lasted the whole race. Tell me about those final laps, dude.
So my whole objective for the last lap was just to keep it clean and just try to hold on to positions. You know, Kai was putting the pressure like crazy on me. That's when I really started trying to defend, and I'm glad I was able to do it, you know, without any issue, other than the first lap. By accident, I kind of hit him, but other than that, the race was pretty well. I wish I was kind of there with Jorge right behind him, because, you know, we did kind of practice together and set a good game plan for the race, but unfortunately, you know, it is what it is.
I mean, third place is a great result, especially for round one. Was a good combo for drivers like you. So well done, Hovercraft. Any questions for our P3 finisher?
First off, congratulations, Oak. You know, podium to
Thank
start
you.
off the season.
Yeah.
You know, great run. Similar to Jorge, we've been racing together for these past 2 weeks in the MMR side. So, you know, great to be able to commentate over you. You know, you had some pretty fun battles. Um, did you have kind of any? What were your thoughts when you went into the pits? Right, you had Wade and Jorge surrounding you with the other soft runners. What were your thoughts going out? You know, getting the fresh set of mediums and having to navigate the rest of the race.
For me, it was kind of, when I went into the pits, it was kind of just looking at everyone's fuel, to be honest. The fuel was kind of a big part, not really, but it was something to definitely look out for. The fuel for me was a tad bit low because I was really revving it out towards those first couple laps. But yeah, my plan for me was to just try to stay as far ahead of them as possible, just to make sure that when they hop on those, you know, faster compounds, making sure that they don't try to pass me, which ended up happening with the Kai. But, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you still had a great result in P3, and you know, congrats to you. And I hope, like the same to Jorge, we'll probably race one another on Thursday, and after that, we'll see you. We'll hopefully see you up here again in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Indeed, indeed. And JK, any questions for Oak here?
Yeah, I do actually. Just one. Congratulations, Oak. Yeah, well done from P3.
Thank you.
Just quickly, you had a massive moment when Kai was behind you on the last turn,
Yeah.
and you went pretty much sideways. I was amazed at how you still managed to get some traction out of that corner. Tell us about what you thought at that point. Did you thought that was it? You're going to hit the wall or what?
Yeah, that moment right there with the Kai was kind of like a Code Brown moment for me. It was definitely not a nice moment, but
Yeah.
I tried my best to save it, and it ended up working at the end, but it definitely made me lose a lot of time down the straight. For me, it was kind of just be careful with that curb, especially, but that curb has been getting me this entire week, and it's been such a struggle to deal with, you know. But yeah, it was
You're
definitely
incredibly quick though, mate, and you were consistent. Your consistency recently has been amazing. So I want to say congratulations on that as well, mate. You're putting in some good performances, and I'm looking forward to commentating more on your races. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Oak. Congratulations on your P3 finish. Round one is done and dusted. And now we get to look forward to round two. So thank you, Oak, for joining us, and you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Take care, mate.
Take care.
So round one complete, both Friday and Saturday.
I'm exhausted, TK. So I don't know about you. The
Oh.
race has been so incredible. I'm exhausted. I need
I've got a nap. I've got a nap in my future, my friend. Don't worry.
You guys are
We're
speaking. I did two. I did both broadcasts.
yeah, you
Yeah,
did
yeah.
you double stints are tough. I did that last season, and you don't realize how much it takes out of you until you do it, and you're like, holy smokes. You've done a great job, Hovercraft JK. It's been great to have you as well. We're going to take one more break, hear a word from our sponsors, but y'all, you really don't want to go anywhere because we're going to reveal what round 2 is going to be. And that's the best part. I don't know what it is. None of us know what it is. Only McNaughty knows. So take a quick break, come back. We'll hear a word from Trail Ends, I believe, during this break. And we'll be back with the reveal.
Don't forget the thumbs up.
Witness a lakefront transformation right here in the Point. And you may not believe it, but just last year, this home was down to the studs.
Woo! And we are back. That was, oh my goodness. We've had some incredible races today. Division A, Division B, bangers as usual. Um, Before we get into the standings, I do want to give a big thanks to our sponsors. Again, huge shout out to the Dumb Guys Do Racing podcast. Slow Mo was on this past week. Myself and Tati will be on next week. So please check us out. Episodes drop on Mondays, wherever you get your podcasts. And then we have, of course, Trails and Custom Construction based out of North Carolina. Big thanks to them. And then our OG sponsor, Hankey's Tavern in Old Town Florissant in St. Louis, Missouri. Go check out Hankey's if you're in the area. Tell them the NRL sent you. And then, of course, Little JCPA turning your side hustle and small business into some money making action, making sure you're all good with the IRS. So those are our sponsors. Big, big thanks to them. So now let's take a look at our Division A standings. Hovercraft, take us through it, man.
Of course, as the race winner, he takes the lead in the championship for Division A on the A side. Jorge Sr. from PHG. In second place, we have Takai with 24 points. Oak or Naranjo in third with 20 points. FAF, there we go. Bubba in fourth. Talent takes fifth place in the championship. Sixth place belongs to Cotton. PHG Josh Moment settles in seventh. Select in P8. S7R's Mr. Racing takes P9 for now. Slowpoke is in 10th, while PDX Roland takes 11th. Island Grow in 12th. FAF Wade is in 13th. And rounding off the championship on the Division A Saturday side is S7R's Nuke in 14th.
Very nice. So all drivers having points in Division A here on Saturday. Very nicely done. Those qualifying times really paying off. So here's the part that really everybody's here for. We need to see what these drivers are going to be doing in round 2, and I already see Rain and Red Bull. Rain and Red Bull. I like it. I like it. Saturday, Division B, round 2, and I am here for it because it's Red Bull Ring Short. Red Bull Ring Short is so good. Oh, I love this layout. Time limit for qualifier 10 minutes. All the settings same as race. Car required. I really like this car. The Renault Megane Trophy 2011. Start type. Grid start with false start check. Tuning. BOP is on. BB allowed. Available tires. Racing softs and racing mediums, but none are required. So I imagine they'll be doing some of this race on inters or full wets. 33 laps. It's a small track, so 33 laps is going to be good, and track limits here are a pain. Tire wear is 6x. That's a lot. Fuel consumption 3x. 1 liter per fuel. Damage heavy. Oh, I'm jealous.
Ooh,
I'm jealous.
Car is
of
fun
this
to
car.
drive. That car is fun to drive too.
It is, JK. This is one of those ones that has been meta for some daily race Bs in the past. What are your thoughts here, Hovercraft?
It's really, it's really fun. I actually drove around here with the Rebel Juniors recently. It's a very tight track. You are gonna be in a fight, and wherever there is no, how do I say it? There's no pitting into clean air, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter where you take your pit stop, you're probably gonna be stuck behind somebody at the exit of the pit. So it's gonna be interesting to see how people manage their tires, see people how people manage the rain, and how they go into the pits and where they fall into the other competitors.
Yeah, indeed. And JK, have you used the Red Bull short track much?
Yeah, I have same comments as Hovercraft. Really, it's a short track, and yeah, there's no easy way of getting out of the pits and trying to get into clean air. It's just too short. You're always behind somebody at some point, and because this being this track and these settings on the tires and the track itself, people are going to be pitting all different times and use different types of tires. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah,
almost wish I entered the NRL now to just drive this track.
Exactly. I'm thinking the same thing. And another one here is turn 2 sneaks up on you real quick because you're used to going straight, and then all of a sudden you're doing a U-turn, and it's off camber. The weather's definitely going to play a factor. I can't wait to see what the actual rain settings are going to be. But we're in for a treat. Division B drivers, you got 2 weeks to practice. I expect everyone to bring their A game.
The 6 times wear is going to be huge.
Yeah, especially depending on how the weather is. If you're on inters and it starts to dry out, those inters get eaten up quick. But based on what we're seeing here on that butterfly flapping in the wind, and we look at the bowl here at the top, it looks wet. It looks wet. So next up we got Division A, and we already had a banger with a more traditional choice. This looks a little less traditional. What do we have here? Saturday, Division A, and let's go, y'all. Come on. We got Laguna Seca, 10-minute qualifier, and we are in this Ferrari 812 Superfast 2017 grid start with false start check. Bop is on, and we are on the proper tires for this vehicle. That is sports soft, sports mediums. None are required. Oh, this is going to be good. 21 laps, 8 times tire wear, 2 times fuel consumption, 2 liters per second, and heavy damage. So flip-flop from Division A on Friday, who used some road cars recently. Now our Division A Saturday is going to be in a road cars in a challenging course. I imagine that corkscrew is going to be a bit of a handful. What do you think, JK?
Yeah, the corkscrew in this car. I mean, this car likes to spin around for fun anyway. But yeah, on the corkscrew, I would imagine a lot of short shifting to try and keep that car under control. Again, this is amazing.
It's really good.
And this one.
And you know, Ferraris, you usually think of mid-engine. Not this Ferrari. You can see how long that hood is. It's got a big old motor up front. Your thoughts on this hovercraft?
We're going to be seeing a lot of the similar characteristics to today's whatchamacallit, the first cars, the Izzo, I forget the name of the car.
The Gatto
there you go.
GT.
It's going to be very similar to that. The only difference is this will probably have a little bit less horsepower than it, so we're not going to see, you know, even if it could reach the same top end, it can't with how short the track is. But you know, the characteristics I think are going to be very similar. The front end is going to be a little bit heavy. The rears are going to spin a lot, and it's going to be a lot more on just how careful you are on the throttles, especially running it on sports tires.
Yeah, and you also think about the sausages around here. It was like 2 physics updates ago, and NRL came back here again, and especially on road cars, these sausages are brutal. They will flip the car over almost.
They really do. They just spit you out into the sand, and in the sand you're spinning for days after that. You don't know what day it is by the time you get back on the track.
Absolutely, and you think about the left-hander before the corkscrew. That's not really a braking zone. It's more of a lift and flick, maybe a downshift. And there is that sausage on the inside. And like you were saying, you're just off into the kitty litter, and there's nothing you can do. But with damage being heavy, the walls are far away here. So you are going to be less likely to pick up damage from your own incident. It'll just have to be whether or not you have an incident with another driver.
That's right.
So here we are, the end of round 1, Saturday, Division A and B. Holy smokes, what a good time. JK, hovercraft, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself hanging out with you two. But that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank everyone for watching. Everyone, please remember, like and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. Shout out to all our super chats, all our gifteds, everything like that. We will be back in 2 weeks' time, like you saw on the screen, April the 3rd and the 4th. Man, whew. Gentlemen, like I said, I enjoyed my time in the booth with you all, but sadly, the day has come to an end. JK, I'll let you
end at some point.
At some point, but like I said, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. I'll go ahead and let you say your goodbye to the viewers, JK.
Yeah, wanted to say thanks to all the drivers for today. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself watching you guys race around these tracks and doing things that I can't do, and for the super chat as well. And I'll get to see you guys soon.
Awesome. And yourself, Hovercraft.
Yeah, thanks again to you guys for having me on board. You know, this double shift, while it was long and tiring, was you know, a joy to do. Seeing all these great drivers and the two fantastic races that we saw today. So, you know, cheers, kudos to everyone that competed today. You all did great, regardless of the results, and we're hoping to see more actions in 2 weeks' time.
Indeed, and it's going to be great. I cannot wait for round two. Thanks again, everyone, for all your support. Thank you to our sponsors, Dumb Guys Do Racing, Little JCPA, Hankey's Tavern, and sorry, I got a little in my throat there. Trails End Custom Construction. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. That's all we have for y'all. Thank you, McNaughty, for putting this on. Later, y'all.
See you guys.